Hello and welcome to the Yerky Boys. May the Kandrona shine and strengthen you. My name is Will.
My name is Jonathan.
And we are the Yerky Boys. Hooray, hooray. This is a big, big episode.
Yeah, it is. Whoa, it's big. Supersize me, Cap'n.
Jesus.
Right? Supersize me, Cap'n.
Yeah.
It's morphin' time.
I think you put two things together there. You're putting a lot of things together at this point.
So. What are we talking about this week?
We've got a two-parter from the Animorphs TV show. This is season 1, episodes 14 and 15, The Leader, parts 1 and 2.
Whoa. Yeah, these might have aired in February of 1999.
Mm-hmm. They sure might have.
It's possible.
They could have aired in January as well. Either way, every source I have says that there are no more episodes from 98 regardless. So we're in 99.
Oh, hell yeah. Finally. I loved being in 1999 when we read the books, and now I'm so glad to be back.
I know. It's a great year. Things are looking
Should we talk
up.
More about like some 1999 facts?
Yeah, we got time.
We go down the wiki entry again?
We got time.
Look, here's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, our episode was bad.
Right.
Everybody, we all know, we said it was going to be bad, and it was.
No, yeah, that's true.
And it was also one of our shortest episodes we've ever done.
Right.
Which is to say, normal length for anyone else.
Right.
For us, one of the shortest ever. And so the problem is, like, we got emails this week of people because we cried out for help in keeping our episodes long. But now here we are with a two-parter episode when I actually think we have probably a lot to discuss about it. So we can't win.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's tough.
I could save
actually
these emails
was
till next
informed about one of these emails off pod, and I was told we don't have to do it if it's a long episode. It's just bullshit to fill time for us.
Well, we don't know if it's going to be long yet.
That's true. We won't know until it's over, so.
Yeah. A lot of podcasts read the emails at the end of the episode, but not us.
Not us, baby.
We kick it off right away with some emails. Actually, before we talk about emails, though, don't you think we should mention it? Don't you think we should just mention it for a minute? Just because people are going to be wanting to hear our take.
On what?
A little something that that hit the airwaves the other day.
Right, yes.
Yeah, well, listen. This is like news.
Go for it. If this is what you want. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we don't usually have a news segment on the show.
News segment, okay.
Because there's not usually like news relating to Animorphs, but there's been Animorphs news.
Animorphs news. I'm just going to let you know I have no take on this. I didn't actually look at it.
Topical news.
Okay. Why don't you break this topical news for our listeners?
Well, listeners might be familiar with a certain YouTube personality who goes by the name of JonTron. We all love JonTron. JonTron, formerly of the Grumpy Gamers.
Right.
He's a guy. He's a cool, funny guy who I don't think has ever been accused of anything. What did he get got for racism? Did he say slurs? What did he do? Did he arrest somebody? What did he do?
I was asking about that. I mean, I guess he's like a Nazi or something. I thought maybe he just got Kramered for saying an N-word once, but I don't know for sure. I don't really know the details, to be perfectly
it's
honest
something
with
like that. So he's not a rapist, though, I don't think.
As far as I'm aware, but I couldn't listen. The problem is we're getting into YouTube personalities. It's like a coin flip on that.
Yeah. Anyway, JonTron put out a new video on his channel, which I think he doesn't upload that much. As of recording, this came out less than a day ago. It is currently number 7 on YouTube's trending list, and it has over 1 million views.
Wow.
And if you're not in the know, you're listening to this right now wondering why the fuck we're talking about JonTron. It's because he released a video called Animorphs, the TV show. It's a
Wow.
19-minute video in which he watches clips from Animorphs and comments on them like it's a react video.
That's
Kids react to Animorphs.
a lot like what we do, only it's 19 hours over here.
Right. Yeah, his is 19 minutes, and sometimes he edits in funny stuff, like he's in a rat suit running in a rat wheel.
That's funny. We should do
And
that.
as far as I can tell, it looks like I don't think he even made it through like one episode. It's not like he cuts in clips from the whole series or something. It's like the first episode.
Well, I did not. All I've seen of this video is the thumbnail.
I watched
in which JonTron turns into a dog.
That's right.
You like that?
I did like that.
Thank you.
I watched the first few minutes, and when he's just introducing it, and I was like, most of it is just him, for people who don't remember Animorphs, doing like the obvious, haha, remember Animorphs, how there's kids in it, but also it's kind of adult, haha.
Sure.
And then he talks about the show, and he just does little like cutbacks to him being like, hey, and then he, advertises for ExpressVPN.
Is it
I think it sucks.
Okay, I was going to say, did you like it? Is he like a funny Nazi, or is it...
I think he's one of the funnier Nazis.
Okay.
Whatever that means you.
Sure.
However
I mean,
much
you're
weight
a
that
connoisseur, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know how much Nazi
Top
content you
3
consume.
funniest Nazis. That's going to be a Patreon episode. But it's not like, oh, this is embarrassing, I hate this, turn it off. It's just, once I got to him commenting, I just thought, I don't need to see this anymore. I see where this is going.
It's probably a lot like our show. Like, why do you listen to it?
Right. Yeah. Anyway, look, we were trying to get JonTron on the show to talk about it.
Yeah, that's our next special, our Q&A with JonTron.
Let us know if you've watched this video and if what you think of it. Animorphs is in the zeitgeist thanks to this video. I mean, I guarantee you, K.A. Applegate and Michael Grant are probably aware of this video. Like, this must have come across, they're on Twitter and everything. Like, this must have come across their desks or will within the next week.
Well, they moved to Blue Sky. I don't know that they put up with JonTron's nonsense over on Blue Sky.
No, probably not. Okay, anyway, I just think we had to mention it because otherwise people would have been like, what the fuck?
Right. Yeah, I mean, we are the place to go for your Animorphs breaking news, so...
Yeah, this is hot off the presses. Speaking of which, let's read some emails.
Okay. We got time. It's going to be okay.
We have plenty of time today. Yeah, I think you have to do something, though.
Oh, the sharing.
Yeah, this is not that hard to pick up on that cue. Your only job, really.
I haven't had to do it in a long time.
It's been like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, that's a long time.
We got a couple of emails this week based on our last episode when it sounded like we were on the verge of suicide. As opposed to normally when it does always sound like that, but it was just more obvious.
Usually it's more like a month away and not, imminent.
Right. This comes to us from Nick. Now Nick usually goes by Nick No Name.
Right.
But on his Patreon, I think, and in this email, he signs it Nick Weird.
Okay.
So it's up to you to decide if you want to give him that name or not. I don't know if he's earned it.
Well, we'll see. I mean, this would be, speaking of the Patreon, this might be a good Patreon episode to discuss that further.
This might be a good Patreon episode. You're saying we should do a whole Patreon episode about Nick?
I just mean, given the subject matter, Nick Weird.
I mean, I do think the subject
Billy
mattered. Some think the subject don't matter.
Listen, subscribe to our Patreon if you want to see the conclusion of this riveting conversation. But let's hear this email.
Yeah, patreon.com/theyerkyboys, or you can email us, theyerkyboys@gmail.com, like Nick did, in which he writes, subject line, "It sounds like you guys could use some encouragement." Our listeners are worried about us now. Maybe that's our new gimmick to get people to listen to the podcast, is like, if you don't keep listening and writing in, we might kill ourselves. We hold them emotionally hostage.
Never know.
We need you guys to listen. If you stop listening, it's akin to committing murder.
I want to hear
This
this
could
email.
Okay. Nick writes, "Hi, downtrodden yerky guys. Just listened to the pod episode about the TV show episode called The Forgotten, and I'm very sorry you all had to watch and talk about it. Last year, I watched all episodes of the Animorphs TV show. I am sorry to say this show sucks. And while there are a handful of interesting episodes on the horizon, it doesn't actually get better. And the show doesn't really explore the concepts of Animorphs that we love in the books, like the themes of trauma, nature of good versus evil, etc. When I wrote my email to you guys about the end of the series, I almost included a section about the show, and that section ended with, I hope you guys don't regret watching the TV show after reading all of the books. But since that email was already very long, I just deleted it. Now that you're halfway through the first season of this show, do you guys wish you had structured the podcast differently? You could have alternated book and TV episodes, or maybe watched the batch of TV episodes that aired the same month a book was published. I hope this TV show doesn't break your spirit. Stay strong. Fist emoji. Nick weird. It's like the fist, like the, not
Right.
like punching, like Black Panther.
Oh, I
Not
see.
like
I
not
thought
like
you meant
Wakanda forever. Well,
right. So it's not like a fist bump.
No, it's like holding it up like solidarity.
It's a fist pump.
Yeah, I guess it's the Black Panther thing. Is that what they do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wakanda forever and shit. All right.
Right.
So, I mean, I have an answer to this question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to hear what your answer is.
My answer is that no, I don't wish we had structured the podcast differently. I think that wouldn't be a bad choice necessarily for the structure of the podcast and for listener enjoyment to do it that way. I think that could be an interesting way to do it. But personally for me, as someone who it was my first time reading the bulk of the series, I wouldn't like to in my head cross-pollinate concepts from the books and the show. I really wanted to have a pure reading of the books and not have it be like, oh, now when I'm reading Lord of the Rings, I'm picturing Ian McKellen, you know? I didn't want to be thinking about Sean Ashmore when I was reading Jake. I wanted to have a purely book experience. And so I'm glad for myself that I did it that way. I don't know if that would have made it a better podcast or better for my mental health, but that's my personal preference when it comes to experiencing things. How do you already read the book, so how do you feel? Maybe you would have liked that better.
No, I'm with you on this. I'm glad we did it the way we did it, even if it means that we have this stretch toward the end, or people hate the show now, or whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, people might have stopped listening because they don't care about the show. We might
Yeah.
have retained more listeners by mixing it up.
Or we might have not gotten as many because it would have had sucky episodes in the middle. But yeah, I mean, I have to look at it kind of from the perspective of where I was when I started the show, because I wasn't that excited about doing a podcast, right? You were the one who was like, let's do a podcast about something, and I was mostly just excited because
it was more your
Animorphs.
idea. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was the point, right? Is that I was excited about Animorphs, and that's how you got me to do a podcast. So
yeah, and you were in the gutter.
right. Yeah, you found me, you scooped me out. The point is that
It was like Garfield the movie.
I was
I was eating in an Italian restaurant, and Dog Time saw me through the window.
Who?
Oh, well, they know your handle on Blue Skies.
They do know my handle. But yeah, I'm happy to have done the books first because that's what I was excited to be doing. And like now that I've kind of completed the books, I have, a little bit more attachment to the podcast itself. Rather than just saying, yeah, I don't really care about the podcast. I just want to come on here and talk about Animorphs for a couple hours and then I'm good and I don't care. So it's like easier to run out the end of it now that I have a several year history with it, if that makes sense.
I don't I almost feel like maybe you're approaching sentimentality, or maybe you're saying something nice. I'm not sure. I can't tell.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sentimental now for the podcast
Wow.
and for our listeners. I'm going to miss y'all when you're gone.
Whatever. So they're
Didn't
going
mean
to
for
be
that to sound
gone.
ominous.
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to do something to them. Well, we know something you guys don't, and we're getting out of here.
I
Anyway,
think everybody knows it by now. It's 2025, baby.
well, yeah. Maybe we might just have to escape on some kind of a ship.
Hmm.
You don't like this that I'm dropping the little hints, little
Yeah.
teases?
Oh no, I kind of like it. I kind of like it.
That one's not as maybe as good as the other one I did. Anyway, but anyway, thanks for that, Nick, and thanks for letting us know that it doesn't get better.
I didn't think it would, to be honest.
We might, I don't know, maybe I don't agree. Maybe I think it does get better. We'll see.
Yeah, who knows?
One other email this week from Steven. His subject line is some rambling bullshit that will kill some time.
Good, because we got time to kill.
That's what I'm saying. Steven writes, "Hey Yorkie boys. Bold of John to make another Resident Evil 4 reference in your review of episode 12, given his well-documented lack of knowledge about the game. But I couldn't find fault with it, so I'll let it slide. Anyway, I'm kind of blown away by how bad of a job the show does with establishing Rachel as a character. I've often found that when a work has a lot of characters, I have trouble getting a read on every character the first time around. It's only on a rewatch when I realized that the characters were being well characterized right from the start, even if they only got 2 lines an episode. This is especially true when the characterization is more subtle than just being the funny one or the quirky one. And it's even more true when characters are just one part of the information overload you get hit with when you're first introduced to a new and complex setting. Except that doesn't apply to Animorphs at all. While the show does hit you with new concepts like the disc, you already know enough that you're not getting any information overload. Even if that characterization was really subtle, you'd get it. But worse, even if a writer doesn't know basically anything about Rachel, they should at least be able to write her as the mean one. In the books, we saw more than one ghostwriter who didn't seem to have a perfect handle on Rachel's character, but even they knew that all they had to do was make her a psychopath and she'd come through true enough for readers not to mind. Also, it looks like John's fears about the underleveled RPG characters are coming to pass. We've got a string of Jake and Marco episodes, and now we're on a string of Rachel and Cassie episodes, and they're unsurprisingly underperforming. Keep up the good work, because this show certainly doesn't. Steven."
This show means the Animorphs show and not our podcast, right?
I think.
Okay. Okay, good.
Must,
So I was
right?
about to take that personally, is what it was.
Yeah. I think this is a good email to read this episode because we are going to have a little more Rachel and Cassie stuff in in this pair of episodes. And I do think that I kind of had a realization, the revelation, you might say,
Oh, okay.
watching this episode, which maybe somewhere in the back of my mind I already knew, but it sort of was more materialized fully in my brain. We've talked a lot about Rachel, specifically Rachel. He kind of lumps Cassie in here a little bit too, but mostly this is about Rachel. And how she's had less than great characterization on the show so far. And initially, my thought was just, oh, they're doing a bad job, or they just haven't had the chance to develop her enough for whatever reason. And that stuff is maybe it's not going to come in a good way, but I was more blaming their capabilities as writers and directors and actors. And that may partially still be true. But I think after watching today's pair of episodes, it has occurred to me that I think it is more intentional than that. And what I mean specifically is that Rachel on this show is not the mean one. She's not angry. She's not she doesn't have any rage. She doesn't love the thrill of the battle or any of those things we've come to associate with her in the books. And like I said, initially I thought, oh, well, that's just because they're not good at establishing those things. Now I think we have come far enough that it seems to me it has to be an active choice. There have been enough opportunities for them to showcase that side of her that they must at one point, producers or writers come together and said, we don't want Rachel to be angry because that isn't good for our children's TV show. So let's not ever make her angry. That's not who our version of Rachel is. What do you
Yeah,
think about
that
that?
that is not unreasonable. There are multiple points in earlier episodes. I mean, most notably when they just gave large parts of Rachel's plot line to Cassie. But even in this episode, there are times where individual lines will get said, and I'll think to myself, why is like Cassie saying this line? This is Rachel's line. So it's not even like they don't it's not even that Rachel's not being mean because they're not putting that in there. There are times where somebody says something kind of like "Let's do it," and
Mhm.
it's not Rachel. Um, I you
She did
know
say that once.
yeah, she did say that once. Um, yeah, I mean, like clearly it seemed like they were toning it down intentionally. I don't know if I thought they were removing it entirely. It also seems very clear that Brooke Nevin, is that correct? Like
Mm-hmm.
that is just not the character she plays. Like regardless of what you want to say about her as an actress, I don't think that is like that's just not how she plays the character at all. Uh, and maybe that's somewhat intentionally directed that way.
I would say at most the emotion that usually registers from her is frustrated. She does a lot of like
Mhm,
but not there's not really anger there. It's just kind of like I just lost in a level in a video game sort of.
mhm.
ah, the Yerks got Jake. You know.
Yeah, but like
Yeah,
as we've said before, okay, so we don't want her to be angry. So what is she instead?
right. And
Yeah,
they didn't get that far. That's what's
right,
written on the whiteboard in the Animorphs writer room and there's nothing underneath.
right.
And I wonder if that is um like, oh, we don't want a character this violent on our kids show, or do you think part of it is like she's a girl and we don't want to
Mhm,
have a girl doing that stuff? Like if Rachel in the books was a dude,
mhm.
I bet you that dude version of Rachel would still retain these qualities.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad guess. I don't know for sure, but because,
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're not going to take the Rachel in the kid show as far as they did in the books. Obviously, they take her really far in the books, but there are plenty of times. Like, it's not that hard to have a reckless character whose whole deal is to be like, I'm excited, let's go do it. Whenever somebody says like, uh oh, let's smash that thing up. That line always goes to Rachel or whatever. Whenever somebody
Mhm.
has to take point, that's always Rachel or something. You can do that and barely change anything that happens in these episodes.
Yeah.
So it's not like it can just be that they don't want the character too violent.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll give him some credit. At least, this came out early enough that the woke left didn't come in to wokeify the whole show. Because if Animorphs came out
Right.
today,
You're
like they would race swap and gender swap the whole cast.
This is the episode you're showing to JonTron when you try to get him on for our special episode to pull in more listeners.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to get
appealing,
JonTron.
yeah,
Who am I going to appeal to? The 5 idiots who write into our show, or the guy who has 7 million subscribers on YouTube? That's my
right,
audience.
right, yeah. You got to get on the grift.
Plus, shares a name with me.
That's true. Wow, that's crazy. You're like twins,
Like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
right?
All right. Anyway,
So,
I think that would be kind of fun though. If Jake was a black woman, Cassie's now a white man. Rachel, I'm gonna say, is gender fluid and Asian.
mm-hmm.
Marco, I guess, can stay Hispanic, but I don't know. He's gay. He's openly
I'm
gay.
gonna say somebody's got to be in a wheelchair, right?
Oh, Axe.
Oh,
Just a
right.
real
Okay.
cheat.
Yeah,
He's
of
a
course. Yeah.
VCOL now. And Tobias, I guess, this can still be a bird.
Well, there's your woke mind virus Animorphs. If that's what you wanted to hear, as opposed to us talking about this episode, which we already said is going to take longer than usual.
I bet we can
There
get
you
through it
go.
quick.
I bet
It's
we
two
could.
parts.
I mean, we
Let's
could.
start. Let's
All right.
start now.
This is the leader, parts 1 and 2,
Oh,
which,
yeah, go ahead.
as we know, is not a book.
Right. There's no book called that.
Right.
And it's a TV episode. That's also how you know it's not a book.
Right. That's true. What were you gonna say? Was it worth hearing?
No, it was just that, oh yeah, I was about to start going through the show and I'm like, oh, we didn't also we usually talk about the cast and everything.
I don't know. Do we want to talk about it up front, or do we want to wait until maybe part 2 so you can see?
Well, we can say one thing, which is
Mhm.
that this is both of these episodes are Sean Levy episodes.
Yes, more Sean Levy, and then writer
Sean Levy.
Jessica Scott and Mike Wallager.
I forgot to look at the writers. Were they previous, have they
I
written
don't
other
fucking
episodes?
remember. I didn't write it down. I should have.
Yeah,
What do you want from me?
I don't know if we've, I think we've seen both of these people before. We have.
Okay.
Oh, no, we haven't. Wait, we have. We have.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad you're on it.
So we've talked about them already, but I'm going to say this. I will say this up front. I think Sean Levy bringing the juice this week. Maybe it's just because last week's episode was so bad.
Yeah, hard to say.
But I think this pair of episodes is, if nothing else, at least more worth discussion than last week's. This is
Oh yeah.
to me, this is overall another step in the right direction for the show. And it seems like that is the case often for the two-part episodes. It feels like the multi-part episodes are the better episodes.
Yeah, I do think that I don't know what it is, because even in this one, it feels like there is some padding in episode 2. When I watched episode 1 of this, I was just like, "Oh shit, we made a mistake. These should have been broken up." Because I was
right.
I was just like, "Oh my god, so much." But then part 2 was like not nearly as bad. There were a lot of scenes where it was like, "Okay, we don't need as much as this. This could have been more efficient." So, which is good for me because it means I don't have to talk about it as much. It feels like
Good for our listeners too.
Yeah, like all of these Animorphs episodes, the stories that you want to tell if you're taking a book there's just too much shit in them to really fit comfortably in a 24-minute episode, 22-minute episode, whatever it is. And then also they tend to have a bunch of scenes that just get kind of dropped, and I don't know, like the pacing is weird. I don't think the writing is well paced for it. And so having 2 parts really helps with that a lot.
Yeah, but it's even when there's some episodes like last week's, which was what happened again last week.
Rachel got amnesia.
Right. Like that could have been a 22-minute episode. I don't think it's like, oh, if only they had another part, like it was so overstuffed. In that case, I think they were just bad at it. So
well, that was the most stripped down one, because they took out the majority of the plot from that book.
Right. You just like by that theory, it shouldn't have suffered. It's not like the only problem of the show is, oh, if every episode was 2 parts, it would fix it.
No. Yeah.
It just I don't know. Maybe it's just a coincidence, or maybe the 2-parters they kind of work a little harder on because they're like, oh, this is more exciting that we have to build it up like a big event.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking that the problems that already exist with the writing and adaptation are maybe not quite as bad when you have 40 minutes as they are when you have 20 minutes. But
yeah,
rather than like it should be 40 minutes.
Right.
I just found out the Yerks have a second Kandrona. They're keeping it at the EGS tower.
Remember this?
Yeah.
You wanted to help your mom out with the Thanksgiving decorations? So you did.
This new sensor will be their undoing. Their morphing. The very thing they count on to triumph will be their greatest weakness.
Install these devices in our most sensitive places.
What's going on in there?
Let's go. Come on, let's get out of here.
We're gonna have to jump across.
No way.
But that's our way out. I make bigger jumps than this in gymnastics all the time.
Where are they?
Visser 1.
I'm guessing Visser 1's the head honcho. It's your mom.
So not based on a book, but takes elements from different books.
Yes. Well, the first element we're gonna get, and this is the opening scene here, is the bit that they took out of Megamorphs last week. 'Cause last week in Megamorphs 1, Rachel has amnesia, and also the Yeerks got a morphing detector. So in our opening scene here, we are in Visser 3's Art Deco house lab thing with the scientist, and his scientist is developing a morph energy sensor.
Yeah. Now, so at first I did think, are they literally is this just gonna be the other half of Megamorphs? They just decided to make it 2 episodes. But I mean, it's not a Valik. It is just a device, which
Yes.
is more similar to one of the other times they did this, right?
Yeah. No, the device looks like
It's
like a
smoke
fucking
detector.
garage door sensor
Yeah.
button. Yeah.
Yeah.
You stick it on the wall and it flashes red if there's morphing nearby.
I think the props department for this show was run by Joel Hodgson. You know?
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, but that's not really the case. It's not just Valik episode without a Valik.
No,
It
not
does
at
a
all.
lot more stuff than that.
Yeah, but they do. Yeah, this plot is just kind of in service of the bigger thing. This is just to get stuff rolling
Yeah.
along. But
This is a good plot. I mean, like in
Yeah.
general, like from the books and like to use for the show, this is a good, like interesting thing to use.
Yeah. Morph sensing is a fun thing to do. It's good. I'm glad that we do have it. Uh, it's kind of weird that we pulled it apart from the amnesia, but it's not. I mean, it's not that weird. It's only weird that we pulled it apart from the amnesia because we didn't put anything else with the amnesia, right? Like they don't have to be linked at all.
Yeah, I still think Amnesia could stand alone fine on its own. I think they just did a bad job doing
Yeah,
it.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Like I think why they did that was fine, but we don't need to relitigate a week
Yeah.
ago. We'll kill ourselves again on air. Yeah, the anti-morphing ray. I mean, maybe this would be a little stronger if the Animorphs ever morphed.
Right. Yes, that is an issue. And there are going to be multiple times in this episode where I'm just like, why don't you morph? You don't know that they can sense it. Oh, because you never morph?
That's right. They're the Nevermorphs.
That's right. Now, in this opening scene, this is one of my favorite Victor Trent scenes so far. He really goes fucking crazy. Even just his opening line of the episode, he says, like, do you know how a beetle finds its prey? It smells its fear. It's very good.
It felt to me very, speaking of JonTron, very Nazi coded. And the way that he's comparing Andalites to bugs that hide, and it sounded a lot like Hans Landa, like they're little mice that scurry under the floorboards and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a whole thing in there that doesn't match the book's lore, but he shreds the hell out of the line so hard that I love it anyway. Where he says, like, do you know why Andalites morph? It's because in their base form, they are weak and full of fear, which, you know what? I love it. You say it like that and I love it.
Yeah. Well, that's why you're such a fan of the JonTron.
Right.
I was kind of wondering, this bug, that's a beetle? That bug he's holding? What kind of a beetle is that?
It's one of those like hissing cockroaches, right?
Is a cockroach a beetle?
Sure. I think so.
It is?
Yeah, why not? It's got
I
like
don't
the
know.
shell.
I thought a cockroach was like something else, but I guess I don't know. I don't know about bugs.
I mean, it's got that, I don't know, hard-backed shell wing thing. It looks like
But
a
if you
beetle,
were
but it might not be.
holding-
I wouldn't know.
Like if you were holding a cockroach, you wouldn't go, "Hey, check out this beetle."
Well, that's
You'd
because I
call it
know it's a cockroach. If I didn't know it was a cockroach, I'd I might call it.
So Visser 3 knows enough about Earth culture to know what a beetle is, but not
And
what
how
a
it
cockroach
hunts.
is. Yeah, yeah. He's been here so long. He's been like watching Animal Planet.
Don't hissing cockroaches eat plants too? I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid.
That's a great question. I'm just gonna Google, are cockroaches beetles?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad this is what the listeners
No,
need. They need
cockroaches
to know.
are not beetles.
Holy shit! What are they? Tell me.
I don't know. They're not beetles.
But what are they?
I don't know. They're just a bug.
I
I don't know what a cockroach.
That's not,
I
it's not
I asked-
helpful.
Well, it's helpful because we know they're not beetles, so this thing may not be a beetle. That's all. Although there was that one part right after this where the cockroach sits up and it starts going, "Oh, I'd like to go to the octopus's garden." So maybe that's what the connection was. He kept talking about an octopus's garden, which is weird because he sounded like Paul McCartney, but Ringo sings that one. So I did think that was maybe a goof. I submitted it to Seropedia under the goofs section. Are you orgasming? That's what it sounds like when I do it.
How do you feel about this line here?
Which one?
Install these devices in our most sensitive places.
Yeah, sounds like something Mistress would say to
Is
me.
that a good? Is that a good line? Is that a good line that next episode they include that line on previously on just so I get to hear it again?
That is, yeah. That's pretty good. What is Visser 3 doing a voice, or do I just not remember what his voice sounds like? Because he's in human form so much. But there's a couple parts in these episodes when he is in thought speak, and it sounds so much like Zordon from Power Rangers. Like it's this Andalites, I will kill you. And it didn't sound like him.
He does a voice for sure when he's in thought speak. When he's in Andalite form, he does a voice.
I mean, it makes sense. His voice should not sound like Victor Trent. Like that. That's not what his act. But then, what his thoughts speak, I don't know. So
yeah, who knows? A different morph here because he does a little bit of morphing, half morphing of his face in the scene to test the device. And this is different. It's not the same him making goofy faces morph. He's looking a little demonic. His eye sprouts aren't quite coming out, so it's like he's got horns.
Pretty cool. Pretty sinister.
Yeah, not like
who I also what? Not like what?
Like Buffy demonic. You know what I mean? Like blue
Yeah.
guy, not like pretty humanoid still.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a demon.
Sure. No, but not like you know what I'm. There's a specific type of demon that you would
Not
imagine if
like-
I said a Buffy demon as opposed to if I just said a
Right.
demon.
Not like Garden of Earthly Delights.
Right.
Not like one of those guys coming at you.
Right.
I bet you were maybe a little disappointed because we seem to have lost our original scientist, our Yerk scientist.
Yeah, he's just not here. Is this there is a guy credited on IMDb as Yerk number 1. And I'm
no,
wondering if
that's not this guy.
that's not this guy. Okay.
No,
I wasn't sure.
No, that's a different, because I know who that guy is, and I was going to
Okay.
talk about him.
Okay. I couldn't tell because I kind
You're
of
face
glanced over
blind.
the IMDb's, and also the faces are usually decades out of date. So, because you know what I mean, this show is so old.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see a credit for this guy.
That's too bad.
But I think he's pretty good. I actually really like this scientist. He's funny.
Yeah, he does do a good job. He does a good job. Visser 3 being like saying all his threatening stuff, and the guy's like, yes, Visser, he knows he could get killed at any moment.
Yeah, he's got a really good facial expressions. This is a good opening scene. I'm excited to see this. I love Victor Trent, anti-morphing, funny scientist. I'm into this.
Yeah, I'm happy. This scene makes me
Great
very
start.
happy. This is great. This is wonderful start. And then something big happens.
Oh yeah.
Fucking huge.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. We get a new opening. And
That's
and
right.
it's not just any new it's the old instrumental, but Jake does a voiceover and explains the show.
Hi, my name's Jake. I thought I knew who I was, a kid who liked to do normal things. You know, go to school, play video games, hang out with my friends. But the other night, my whole life changed when my friends and I were given the power to morph. You know, change shapes, become animals. So now Marco, Cassie, Tobias, my cousin Rachel and I can become dogs, cats, tigers, hawks, anything. Pretty cool, right? Not when you're the only thing between a bunch of mind-controlling alien yerks and the end of the world. You can't tell anybody because you never know who's a yerk and who's not. All I know is now I'm an Animorph.
It's not just the instrumental, it's the original end credits theme song, which you
Isn't
may
that the
recognize.
same-
No, it's a different song.
Oh, it is?
I'm pretty sure it's a different song
Well,
because we use it as our outro on Patreon. So I listen to it a lot.
all right.
And I don't think it's all in your hands instrumental.
Well, whatever. The point is we got a voiceover that explains the show. We've been saying they don't explain the show. Well, they do now.
Yes, which had to be a note from like the studio that no one knows what the fuck is going on on this show. You have to explain the show in the opening, which we even said on this show. Why don't they just do this? We talked about how Wild Thornberrys did that. Like, it makes perfect sense. It's in line with the books. It's crazy that it took them this long to do it, but I do give them props for doing it.
Yeah. Now here's the question. The listeners already know the answer, but I don't. Sometimes you said if you've got like a little clip, you put it up at the beginning of the episode. Are we going to start using this for our episodes from now on?
Well, no.
Okay. Just check.
I mean, isn't it the same thing every single time?
Yeah. But that would give people, they'd know they're on a TV show episode. They'd know what the TV show is all about.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay. Well, see, our listeners already knew. I wasn't sure.
Well, I'm wondering still, maybe. It seems like the answer is no, but I don't know. Because in the intro, it's "My name is Jake." It's Jake giving the narration. They could have recorded different ones, and different episodes have different kids doing it.
That is possible. Here's the issue. Both episodes of this two-parter are using Jake, and the starting voiceover for this episode is Marco's. So I feel like it's probably always Jake.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
I think that you're correct. By the way, I am confused, and I am not sure because I'm re-listening to this intro. The beginning is definitely "It's All in Your Head" instrumental.
Well, I did think the ending was like the same tune, maybe like a different, you know what I mean, like a different.
Maybe it's
mix or something,
maybe
but
it's
the
like
same.
maybe it's like the last 30 seconds of the song that you don't hear in the intro or something, or maybe I just forget because I'm so used to hearing it with lyrics. But in my mind, the part after his voiceover stops, that's our end credits song on the Patreon. That feels like a different song to me, but maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe it is all one song and I just don't remember because I think of them as different songs.
Could be. Who knows?
I'm willing to be wrong on this one.
Now, here's one thing, though. We have been asking for in this new intro is still no fucking axe. You made a new intro. You got a new kid.
Yeah.
You made a new intro. No axe. You listed out all the characters by name. He's like, yeah, it's like me, Marco, Cassie, Tobias, and my cousin Rachel. No axe. No axe.
Yeah,
Where is he?
It was such an opportunity they could have used to add him. It has to just be a contractual thing that for whatever reason, I don't know if it was budget or timing or maybe I think maybe the most likely theory is just that they didn't want to write him into every episode because there's so many characters that they were like,
they don't
he's
write
just
the
not
other characters into every episode either. Where the fuck have Axe and Tobias even been?
You're right, but they gotta have somebody in the intro, I guess. Yeah, it's a very strange thing to leave him out like that. It feels wrong because now
Yeah.
the show is officially establishing that he's not an Animorph. He's just a guy who's sometimes there too.
Yeah, and especially because, Axe doesn't show up at all in
Smacking my lips.
in the first episode of this two-parter, and then he shows up midway through the second part, and at this point you've like not heard anything about him. You heard explanations of what the show is, but you never heard who the fuck is this guy? And
Yeah.
he's just here. You know him. He's Axe. What the hell?
Yeah, it's very bad. It's very bad. I also will say this, even though I think overall this is a positive change and they should have had an intro from the beginning like this. I do kind of miss the theme song with the lyrics.
Oh yeah.
And I also think that it was a little more interesting because they actually filmed, you saw different shots of the actors turning their heads and stuff. And the new intro is just a clip show of things that have happened, which is fine. Like that's standard for TV intros, but it does feel a little lazier, a little less special. Also, the font and like animation for the actors' names just looks like the first option in Windows Movie Maker. It's very uninspired looking.
Yeah.
So it's kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, in my opinion, but it was probably smart that they did it.
Yeah, like as much as it's a good idea, I sang along with the theme song like every time. I love that theme song. I'm sad to not be hearing it anymore. Maybe they'll go back to it. Who knows? Maybe this is just for the
all
two-parter.
in your head. They could have. When his voiceover stops, they could have still played "It's All in Your Head." There's no reason for them to take that out. Hands, sorry. Fuck, you poisoned me. You motherfucker.
I did. I knew you were doing it because I kept having to consciously stop myself.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah,
maybe that is the same song. Fuck.
You know who is in this intro, despite Axe not being in it? Is fucking Chapman.
Oh my god, I forgot about Chapman.
Right? Do you think Chapman will ever show up again?
Why? That is such a fucking layup for a kids show about kids going to school. The principal is the villain. Why do they not use him more? It's ridiculous.
I don't know.
They haven't even been in school since like episode 4. I mean, this is true of the books too, but it's just of all the things that you would think you would take that would be easy translate be. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
But it's pretty exciting. I mean, the fact that they're willing to, like, so much of this I just want to hear behind the scenes talk about it, because I'm wondering, was this a reaction to low ratings? Did they get emails that people were confused? Because you don't usually see a switch up like this midway through the first season of a show, and I'm really curious. Like, they had to make an effort to do this. They could have just said no, leave it be, but somebody somewhere said, we need to make a change and fix our show.
Do we have a name on who produced this? That might be much more interesting than fucking K.A. Applegate Q&A.
I mean, yeah. I mean, generally speaking, I don't know. We have Dan Angel and Billy Brown are supervising producers. They've been writers. We also have Deborah Forte as executive producer, so maybe she's involved. I don't know. I don't know if it's pronounced Forte either. It's probably Fort.
I think you say Forte when you talk to her, and then she says, "Oh no, I'm not that fancy," but she takes it as a compliment, you know.
Yeah,
I want to say Fort when it's Forte.
She may be. We haven't really talked about the idea of a showrunner in regards to this show. She might be it, because she is listed. I think she's the only person listed as executive producer. She is credited on all 26 episodes. She also was executive producer on 74 episodes of Goosebumps and 52 episodes of The Magic School Bus. So clearly this is in her
Magic School Bus.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the whole show or not, but yeah, we haven't looked into her at all. Maybe we've been missing a key piece of this puzzle. She might be the overseer of all of these things.
That's the missing piece. That will understand everything when we understand Deborah Forte? Barbara?
Deborah. I guess maybe it is, because Will Forte is Will Forte.
Sure.
Yeah, a
We're
woman. Interesting.
we're getting closer to the mystery, listeners. We'll get there eventually by the end of this show. You'll understand everything along with us.
Yeah, it says she worked for Scholastic. She was like a bigwig at Scholastic. And so that's why she was involved with Goosebumps and so maybe she wasn't the actual showrunner and she was just there for Scholastic making sure the show wasn't too good.
Too good.
Maybe she was the Kevin Feige, well that is maybe too. Maybe she was just there to be like, no, take that out. That's not what our book series represents.
Right.
I don't know.
Maybe they should have paid more attention when the books themselves came out. I don't know.
We got to get Sean Levy on the show.
All right.
I
So
bet he'd do it.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We got to get
Uh-huh.
into this scene number 2.
You want to talk about Patrick Gallagher?
We don't have time for this.
He played Yerk number 1.
All right. So it's Marco. It's Marco. We got a little
Marco!
Marco.
Hello!
Little voiceover about change and leaving things behind. He and his dad, they're painting like the room. They're changing the color of the wall. They're painting the walls.
Mhm.
They're playing around
White
with each
instead
other.
of beige.
Right. Yeah, I would have said beige instead of beige. Or maybe off-white instead of off-white.
Off-white. I think it's bone.
Sure. I can't tell any
Yes.
of these colors apart.
And
Listen,
it's
at the end of this two-parter,
heartwarming-
they finished fucking painting the room, and you see some of the original wall, and I can't fucking tell the difference, so.
Yeah. Well, it's a heartwarming little scene between Marco and his dad, and they bond over this memory of when he drew a hand turkey, classic hand turkey that you draw in school for Thanksgiving,
Right.
on the wall. And they joke about how, mom was so mad about it. And here's our little, for the audience, reminding you that Marco misses his mom and that whole story.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my question about this.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd assume, that's cute. Marco, when he was a little kid, he drew a hand turkey on the wall, and that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Kids draw on the walls. You're not supposed to do that. 2 problems. Number 1, the hand turkey is at Marco's current height. And I know Marco's short, but
Maybe he stood
it's
on
very
a table.
Maybe he stood on a table. Okay. Maybe he got a little stool or a step ladder. Okay.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
maybe okay. Second problem is that he puts his hand up to it. It's the same exact size as his current sized hand.
It's smaller. No, it's a little smaller.
It is not
It is.
smaller.
It is
It's
smaller.
it fits perfectly.
It does not.
into
I'm
the
looking
turkey.
literally at it right now. It does not fit perfectly.
the
It is
same-
close. It is
it's
fucking
so-
close.
Did he draw this like 6 months ago? Was it the day before his mom left? Like, it's so. Why would they not make it smaller and lower?
They should make it tiny. It's true. It should be a tiny little hand.
It's an adult man-sized hand turkey. It's insane, as Marco would say. It's insane. Speaking of turkeys, Marco's dad's kind of being a silly goose.
He sure is. They're playing, like, they're grabbing at the paint roller. He's, like, not giving him the paint roller. It's a
Yeah.
little
Yeah, go on.
homoerotic.
Yeah, all right. You said it, not me.
At first, it's a little homoerotic. Then they start having a paint fight and wrestling each other, and then it's really homoerotic.
It is. It really seems like they are about to fuck for real.
Oh, yeah. Like, extremely so.
He's like throwing paint on each other and giggling and like slapping each other and wrestling. It's like, what the fuck's going on here?
This scene also, we're going to talk about this more in a bit, but this is where some music starts kicking in, which I have called here gay porn cowboy music.
Oh,
It just
sounds like Brokeback Mountain.
I don't actually know that it comes off as gay porn music if it weren't for the paint fight.
Mhm.
Maybe it's just like kind of cheesy weird cowboy music with a 70s porn beat.
I mean, look, Marco's actor is older, probably looking than he's supposed to be technically on the show. If you showed someone this scene out of context, they didn't know this was a father and son. They might believe that this is a scene between two lovers.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a little weird. And this is not the first time that we've compared something on this show to seeming like it was about to be a gay porn.
Yeah. I mean, this though really, I mean, it really does. It really does. Just the physicality, the music, everything.
Yeah, it's strange. A lot of tension here. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah. I do like his dad though here. I do as far as like okay, this is he's on the mend. He's on the up. He's getting over it. He's moving on with his life. Marco's got they're painting the walls. It's going to be fresh and new. We're getting a new. I think he does fine. I think he's a charming man. It's good.
So you finally come around on Marco's dad.
I just wish that they had either given him some kind of arc to get here, or they'd been consistent about him being here the whole time and not like dropped him into depression for one episode.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Because I think they fully justify it.
Okay.
I just want to also, just as our listeners won't like this.
Uh-oh.
But because I'm just sending you a screen cap I just took of Marco's hand on this turkey. His fingers may be 2 centimeters longer.
Yeah, so it's hard to see in this from this particular angle, but not only are his fingers sticking out the top, but the base of his palm doesn't line up with the base of that palm either. Now, to be fair, we are still talking like, the handprint is not like a full inch shorter than his hand. That's for sure. It's less than that.
This is like maybe the marker just slipped a little when he was doing it. Like that is enough margin of error, small enough margin of error to just be, he did that yesterday.
Well, if it slipped, wouldn't it be going bigger than his hand?
I don't know. Maybe he only did a few fingers and then he got tired of holding his hand up and did the rest.
I guess he's standing up on a stool. Maybe he's losing his balance and shifting his hand all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. It's moving up and down. Yeah, but the thumb is the exact same size. It's like fits almost perfectly into this handprint. All right, whatever. It's just bizarre. Like nobody on the set, I guess they were just like, we told someone to draw a hand turkey, so they just used their own fucking hand, and nobody checked that it was supposed to be a kid who did it. And
I mean,
we weren't
that is
gonna
probably
redo
what
it.
happened. Because like I am gonna tell you that's not Marco's hand, but I do think you're right. An adult made that handprint. Maybe they got a chick and they were like, her hand's smaller, right? Because she's a chick, so he'll have a bigger hand. It'll be fine. Forgot the fact that she's still an adult.
Well, I forgot the fact that Marco is a small, feminine, beautiful man. I say that in a good way. I mean that in a good way.
Sure.
Okay. So the two of them, we cut away because it's a kids show. We can't see them fucking.
About to fuck. The music continues.
And who's enjoying that music? Our buddy Jake.
Jake is enjoying it. And in fact, this music is diegetic, it turns out.
Wow.
Yeah,
there we go.
You like that?
Yeah, I love that.
Tom's fucking like, Jake, turn that down. And he's like, they're acting like he's drumming on the walls along with it, but of course he's not. He's doing it randomly. He doesn't know what music they're going to put in. And then he turns it off. So this is Jake's music. This is what Jake listens to, is this song.
Yeah, and he is, again, if you haven't watched the episode, he does have 2 drumsticks and is moving around his bedroom drumming on stuff. So what are we just establishing now that Jake is a drummer? Like this has never come up ever in any capacity.
Yeah, I don't know, because he's not like, if this was just a song he enjoyed, you'd think he might be like air drumming. He's got physical drumsticks.
He has drumsticks. Yeah, he must have a drum set somewhere, or I don't know. Why would you just have drumsticks?
That's just basic logic.
Right. It's like having a doghouse.
Right.
I like that he has a no smoking sign on one of his shelves too. That's very cool. What a cool kid Jake
I
is.
didn't even see that. You're not even kidding. It's not even like a no or so. It's literally got a fucking
No.
cigarette in it.
Yeah, it's like a straight up like you would see in a bar or restaurant or whatever now. No
It's
smoking
not even
sign.
like a dare thing. It's just the sign. They run out of pieces for his room here? What the fuck?
Give some props to the Animorphs set decoration team. They really they knocked it out of the park.
They
Then-
did their best.
Then I don't know what is going on because then Jake picks up a textbook. I don't know if this is a biology textbook. Is he taking a class on zoology?
It's textbook. It looks more like one of those like, you know, picture encyclopedias for like, you know, maybe like 8 to 9-year-olds, like old enough to read but not like real books, except that it's got a hard cover. It's the size of a textbook.
Yeah, it has textbooky vibes to me. It's got like
Yeah.
pictures labeled figure 9-6.
Oh, okay.
and
I guess
stuff
if
like
there's
that.
figures in the pictures, yeah. There's fucking he fucking manhandles this book too. Like if you watch the shot where he picks it up off his desk, he like opens it up and like slams it down on one knee, spine fully open. I don't know that that's how you should be treating your books, Jake. This thing's not going to survive.
I just don't know what is this version of Jake that's rocking out and drumming, and then he all of a sudden in a split second just sits down and goes, and now I'm going to open up this book and start reading about animals.
Yeah.
What's he
what animals
doing?
could I turn into next?
It's such a strange. He's sitting next to his computer that is not on, probably because it doesn't turn on. But it's like, what's he doing in his room? He's just like, I gotta hang out in my room now. Drum, 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 drum. Book about animals. Drum, drum, drum. This is what he does for fun.
I guess this is what he does for fun. I don't know, man. This is
It's a
just how it
weird-
is.
Weird kid. This is why Tom's Yerk is not suspicious of him, is because Jake's just a little weirdo.
Mhm.
But we do get to see Tom now. As you said, he says turn down that music. Does he? Does he say that?
Yeah, he said, or something like that.
Okay, yeah, sure. And he has an important meeting on the phone. He's talking to some Yerk. So guess what Jake does?
Jake goes into his. Well, Tom's on the phone in his room, and we see a little Homer head poke in the room.
This reveal of in slow-mo of Homer just nosing his way around the corner is the funniest shot. This is the Sean Levy difference. This is what you get. It's just this little dog just poking his head around the corner. I loved it. Very funny. And he just goes right up to Tom, shameless, no fear whatsoever that he might suspect him. And then there's a moment when Tom looks out or hears barking, looks out the window. Wait a minute. Homer's outside, but Homer was just, where'd he go? And I got to say, this I think was actually a really good, tense scene that I genuinely like. The music, the way it was edited, the Tom's actor looking around. I was genuinely like, whoa. This is holy shit. He's gonna figure it out. He's gonna find Jake. I thought this was maybe the most well done sequence of so far in the whole show.
I don't know if I would go that far, but it does work in terms of you actually being like, oh shit, is that gonna, yeah. Jake does get out in time.
It's the kind of thing you want to see from like
Yeah.
Jake and Tom living together. Like we should be seeing this all the time.
Like that's the whole point of having Tom and Jake in the same house, right? Like why
Yeah.
even do it?
Right. Yeah, it was good. I thought that was really good. I don't know if it's here or coming up. Somebody says progress instead of progress. I thought I didn't like that.
I didn't notice that. This is also the first time. Now this is a Sean Levy thing that I don't know that I agree with, because this also, when Jake is looking at Tom in the hallway, there's like a cut. You know, we're slowly zooming in on Jake's face. We cut to a close up of his face and then back out really quick. I guess because I don't know, tension or something. And it is
Yeah. Good
so
tension.
fucking fast. Like it is so unbelievably
Oh,
fast,
yeah.
and there are several of these that are just like flickers, and I do not understand why I didn't do it for this particular one, but one of the later ones when I was getting fed up with it, I went in and counted frames, and I was like, that cut was 5 frames. 5 frames. Why? That's crazy.
Well, that's the editor. Don't blame
I
Sean
guess that
Levy
is
for
just
that.
the editor, but I don't have the editor's name. I've got the director's name. I'm going to assume that he's working with the editor. I'm going to assume he filmed that. He was like, I want
Well-
to put an insert here. He probably told the editor, make it short.
That's Robert K. Sprogus,
Well,
who sounds like someone K. Applegate invented.
all right. Well, Mr. Sprogus, you're on thin ice.
I didn't mind it. Isn't that just a very Goosebumps kind of a thing? Like,
Yeah, but it's so like, you know what I mean? It's like half the speed or half the length it should be at most if you're going to do that in and out. It doesn't look like dramatic in and out fast. It looks like a flicker. It looks like it's going to give you a seizure.
that was just the thing. That was the 1999 MTV music video thing, I think. That was like a punk rock video, and they're like doing that in the drum set and shit. I think that was just like cool at that
Like
time.
Jake on his walls.
Exactly. Now, what is this thing? Because Tom gives Homer like a treat or something, or a bone, and then later Jake takes it out of his mouth, which is a pretty,
Yeah.
I got a good moment.
Yeah.
But like, what is this thing supposed to be? Because it just looks like a little piece of rubber. Or
Yeah,
something.
so at first Tom is like playing like tug with it, and it looks like it's some kind of, hard chew, and then Jake takes it out of his mouth. It's floppy. I don't even know if it's the same thing, right? If they were just like, I want to put the real thing in Jake's mouth, but it won't fit, so I got to give him a floppy thing, pretend it was the same.
Okay, let's
I don't
nobody
know.
take that sentence out of context, please.
What? What's wrong with that?
No, just you're
Jake-
talking about putting something floppy in Jake's mouth.
Likes filling stuff in his mouth full of the floppy ones. The hard ones, he can't fit them.
We
He
need
gags
to
on the
just,
hard ones.
we need to clarify these actors are of age. These aren't the children from the books. I just want to say that.
Jake
Except
wants him
for maybe
flaccid. I
Brooke
don't
Nevin.
understand what's weird about that.
Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. It's supposed to be like a piece of a milk bone or something. I don't know what is going, or maybe not a milk bone, like a bone.
I liked it
I
when
don't know.
Homer played Tug. I like it when Homer's on screen, period.
We love seeing Homer. Folks, we love him, don't we? We love seeing Homer on screen, don't we, folks?
Right, I know.
A good scene. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Okay.
Yeah, it was fun. Now, as far as the plot goes here, we do find out from Homer's call, from Tom's call,
All right.
they're putting a Kandrona in the EGS tower, right?
Right.
Which the Ellimist showed them the EGS tower. Now, in the books, they
That
find
Elmo
out
guy.
about the EGS tower because the Ellimist cheated to show it to them. Now, in this, they keep the fact that the Ellimist shows them the EGS tower. But then, when we're doing EGS tower plotline, they just overhear it from Tom. So, it's kind of odd. It's kind of odd to me, like, why bother doing that with the Ellimist and then having Tom do it here? You know what I mean? And then
Well,
they
I
even
think-
reference it. Marco's like, what about that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what the Ellimist showed us, that Elmo guy.
Which I thought was funny.
It was funny. You're right. I guess they want you to know about the Ellimist and
Well,
not forget about him. But
I think in that episode it was not very clearly established, or at least to me, why he was showing them the EGS tower. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't really.
no,
clear
it
what
wasn't.
was
Like
happening.
that is kind of the thing in the episode. In the episode, the trick that the Ellimist pulled was he was giving them a knife, and that's it. Which kind of sucks and is boring. But they did set up the EGS tower. Well, guess what? They didn't set up the EGS tower. It doesn't matter that he did that. So now it's just the knife, and it sucks and it's boring.
That's fine. I think that's you. I think this one is you nitpicking a little too much.
I
think
don't think so. I think that it would have made the Ellimist episode stronger, like looking backwards in hindsight, if they had said, "Oh shit, they're putting up a new Kandrona. Where is it? Well, wait a second. The Ellimist showed us that EGS tower. It's probably there."
Okay, well then your complaint is with that episode, not this one.
No, no, no. I mean, in this episode, if Tom hadn't said EGS and they'd just been like, "Oh shit, it's the Ellimist thing," remember?
Like, I wouldn't. So I'm just speaking for myself personally, as someone who's also read the books and watched that episode 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't have remembered.
Yeah, that's why Marco would. That's why they would explain it to you. It would take.
But
one
I would have just
sentence
been
to
like,
explain it.
the Ellimist did. I don't know. I thought it made perfect sense for them to reinforce it, and Tom would be talking about it on the phone.
I
Like,
mean,
it
listen,
makes
I
sense.
think that's fine too, but then it does mean that the Ellimist episode doesn't have that. Like that episode already was.
That's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
it could have. I think it could have improved the Ellimist episode to have him give them more than just a fucking knife.
I
which
think
was
the
stupid.
issue is with the Ellimist episode,
Sure.
not this one.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's what I'm
agree, but
saying.
this episode had a chance to improve that one.
I don't think. I think at best it would have been a neutral. I don't think it would have. I don't
would've
know how
preferred
much
it.
it would have. I wouldn't have been like, oh wow. Honestly, I forgot they showed the EGS tower in that episode.
Okay,
Like,
fine.
I
Then don't
didn't
even bring
remember.
up the Ellimist in this one.
Well, you got to listen. This is. I always say it. They should be talking about the Ellimist all the fucking time.
I mean, not in this show. In this show, he's not a fucking god. He's just a weird guy who there's no reason to talk about him in this show. Now, if he were doing things like cheating by showing you the EGS tower because he knew the future
Look,
of the plan
okay,
multiple
all right.
episodes out, then maybe you would want to talk about him all the time.
You are relitigating a different episode. We're not talking about this episode anymore. You need to let it go.
I'm talking about this particular piece of information here. That's all I'm saying.
Which is a perfectly reasonable reminder for an audience that might not have even seen that episode.
I'm just saying it's a
because
missed
it aired
opportunity.
once.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. Anyway, let's try to move past that bullshit. I liked when Marco referenced Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He says he met her at the mall and they're going to go on a date. It's a little fun. I love Marco.
Slightly different joke, but that's okay. I'll give it to you.
I don't fucking remember the joke, all right? It was something like that.
Oh, he was trying to guess what Jake had been doing, and he guessed that Jake ran into Buffy, but Buffy wouldn't give him her number because she was saving herself for Marco.
That's what it is. That's what I
Yeah.
said, basically.
Yeah.
I liked when Marco says,
I
forget it,
remember.
Jake. At one point, he does say, forget it, Jake. He does not follow up with it's Chinatown, but he does say, forget it, Jake.
Right.
Also, in these scenes, I really noticed how short Marco is next to Jake.
You're only noticing that now?
Yeah, I guess there's usually like they're sitting down or they're in a crowd or they're like not always in the same shot, but
Interesting. Every time I see a group shot, I notice like Marco and Cassie and Rachel are all about the same height, and then Jake is very prominently taller than all of them.
well, I'm not as heightist as you.
Well, I'm
You
just
really judge
fetishizing it.
people.
It's not like
Oh, I see.
you know what I mean? I'm not
Right.
over here like, oh, it's bad. I'm over here like, oh man,
Right.
short Marco, holy shit.
Right. If you fetishize something, that's not problematic because you
Right,
like
now
it.
it's okay.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know. There's more shots where you see like them from the like waist up or even like the legs up. Also, so here's what I was going to say before, kind of about Marco's dad and how you remember earlier in the earlier episode you were saying he's not sad enough. And I don't know, maybe this doesn't.
Earlier in the show, but sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. In another episode is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And maybe this is, I don't remember if this is the same in the books, and maybe for you it's still not good enough. But Marco here says that it's been almost 2 years since his mom disappeared. I feel like that's plenty of time to get over it.
Yeah, so in the books, this would be correct, but that like the actual anniversary of her death is the point where they like visit her tombstone and his dad says, all right, I've got to get over this now. So this would be, if this were directly in line with the books, this would be the point where he says, all right, I haven't been being a good father. It's time to get my shit together. Which is fine. And like I said, if they just didn't do it at all in the show, I would have gotten over it pretty fast. But like, you know, the first episode, it wasn't enough. And then the second episode, they were all in on him, you know, being dead. And it was like, oh, okay, I guess that is what they were doing. You know what I mean? Or episodes with him. It's just not
Who was
consistent.
dead? Okay, fine. I think it's good. I think it's fine.
Well,
I
it's
think
fine. In this episode, it's fine. I don't mind. it.
Okay. Sure. To me, that's like how it would improve the Elemist episode. To me, this improves the other, even though I had no problem with it. Anyway,
Yeah,
it's been
I don't know. I feel like I'd be the one. Anyway, yes. So, but in this scene, this is the bit because of that thing, and because they're doing I guess the house painting, and the is supposed to somehow symbolize they're like moving on. It's time to start anew. Like we can put that behind us, type of thing. Like so, they are doing that in the show.
Yeah.
And I like that. And here Jake is asking Marco to come investigate the EGS tower, and Marco is saying that he is probably done fighting Yerks because he doesn't want his dad to lose him too, right? He doesn't want to risk that now that they're moving on.
Which feels very this is a thread that barely gets picked up or matters at all in this episode.
Yeah.
Like they could have just I forgot that he even says that here. And later on
Yes.
he's like they're like, Marco, I thought you weren't gonna come. And I was like, what?
Yeah, no, I was thinking that here because in the books this is a huge part of his character, and then it gets resolved in this plot line. Here, it kind of when he says I'm not going to show up, it doesn't feel very weighty, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess he's just not going to. It's not like it's not I've been saying this the whole time, but now 2-year anniversary of my mom's death, this is the final straw. I'm not doing it. I'm going to go see her graveyard or gravestone with my dad, and I don't want him seeing 2 gravestones. You know what I mean? Like that, like you feel that. And here it's just
Your
kind of
mama's so fat she got a whole graveyard.
yeah,
and she's
here
dead.
he just kind of says it out of nowhere, and they exchanged like 2 sentences about it between this scene and the next, and don't really ever bring it up again. So it's kind of like if you
Yeah.
walked into the other room to get a soda, you would just miss it.
The resolution is him saying, I decided to come.
Yeah,
That's it.
And that's the other thing in the book. It's like, oh, this is my last mission. I'm gonna come because it's about trying to get Axe home, and I owe it to Axe because of what his brother did. And here it's just kind of like, okay, well, I'm not gonna go on any more missions. Well, maybe just one more. Why? I don't know. Well, just one more. But then for sure. Why am I supposed to believe that?
Yeah, it's a bit silly. But it's also so blink and you miss it that it's like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I wish they as with all of these things, I kind of wish they just hadn't done it if they weren't going to do it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. But it's not something that really detracts from the episode for me because it's just like doesn't matter. But
yeah, no, I feel you.
Yeah, it could have been done better. What I do really like in this scene, is another like new thing for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Is this story Marco tells about how when they would go fishing? Is that what he says? Or somewhere?
When his mom went out on her boat.
Right, because she's
she
still
was
a boat
sailor?
person. Yeah, she loves boating.
Right.
She would tell him a riddle, or I guess it was a riddle. It was more like a joke, isn't it? But I think he says riddle. Doesn't matter.
Here he says riddle. Maybe Marco does a joke because he's Marco, and maybe she did riddles.
Right. And she wouldn't tell him the answer until she got back because it was like a little cute little game they would play.
Yeah.
And they don't. He doesn't say. I thought they were gonna do. He was gonna say like the last riddle she told him, and then he never got to hear the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do that, but Marco does kind of, his voice breaks and he almost sounds like he's gonna cry when he's talking about it. And it was like, listen, I love Marco. So for me, I felt like a motherly instinct to protect him and nurture him.
I was very,
yeah, that's right. I wanted to go out boating and never come home. It was cute. It was cute. It was sad. I thought this was a good addition. That's something that wasn't in the books that helps illustrate their relationship, which I don't even know that in the books, to be honest. Maybe it's been too long since I've read them now, but that I really know the depth of their relationship other than that's my mom and I love her.
Yeah, you get some illustrative scenes in the books. Not this. I don't know that it's not there in the books.
You're probably right. I don't want to. It's just because my memory's not as strong of those parts, but I just thought this was nice.
This scene here is the first of several in these 2 episodes where I note that Yeah, I mean, I do think that Boris Cabrera is the best actor in this group of kids, and it's like not close. Like he does sell these emotions, you know, he sells the emotion of being sad about his mom. And there's a couple other points where he really sells being like angry or upset or whatever in a way that feels, it doesn't feel like he's hamming it up for the camera. It feels like he's actually feeling it. And I liked it. It was good. It's
Yeah.
legitimately good.
Yeah. This is good.
What happened to
This is
him?
good.
How come this guy didn't get any more acting roles?
Yeah, I don't remember. I know we looked at his IMDb, but I can't remember what else he's been doing.
It's probably
But
short
yeah.
king discrimination is probably what it is.
Yeah, that's true. I guess also skin color could be the discrimination. Yeah, he has not
Well, I
acted
don't
since
see that.
2004. Oh, right. Sorry. I don't either. I was
Right,
looking. I was reading a description. That's why I remembered.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. He really did not do. He did very little else.
Yeah, yeah.
It's yeah. I mean, maybe he just decided to quit. Maybe he just wasn't into acting. Who knows?
Who knows? Jake also has a line here where, you know, Marco is saying, I miss my mom or whatever. And Jake says, he says, like, well, I miss my brother too, but like, we're never going to get him back unless we keep fighting. And it's just like, dude, Marco's not going to get his mom back, period. She's fucking dead, dude. Like, you fucking jackass. What do you, like,
Listen,
what do you mean? It's not going to
he's
happen
trying to relate. You know, he's trying to say, "I know how you feel, bro."
Yeah, but he
It's
doesn't. He says,
sad.
I know how you feel. And then he says, but you got to keep fighting because that's the only way I'll get my brother back. And it's like,
Well,
just
look.
let Marco have his own mom for a second here.
This is Jake's
Don't fucking
strategic.
rub it in.
This is his military brain figuring out what he needs to say to Marco to get him to do what he needs him to do.
This is fucking book 52, Jake, right here is what this
That's,
is.
yeah, that's right. He's locked in. He knows what to do already. Smart. Hey, remember Rachel and Cassie?
No.
Well, they're here
are
too
they?
now. They're in this episode.
Wow.
Axe and Tobias? I don't know where they are. They're watching Days of Our Lives and Axe's Scoop, I guess.
Yeah, so one of them, either Rachel or Cassie, explicitly says that Tobias and Axe are laying low. Trying to figure out why the best answer I have is that Axe got lassoed, and ever since then they've been too spooked to come out. That's what I think it is. Axe got
That must be
lassoed.
it. Well,
Must
they're there. Axe is morphing in and out of all the other Animorphs to cover for them at home.
Right.
And Tobias is watching and covering him from the street and giving him like little, Cyrano type dialogue to say to sound in character.
Right.
How fun would that be to watch?
Well, we're not watching that. We're watching the Animorphs outside the fence
Right.
of the EGS building.
Right.
But-
The 4 Animorphs.
Right. The only 4.
The 2 Animorphs and their sidekicks.
Right. But we do get some Marco and Rachel.
Mhm.
Markle? That's like a ship name. We get them
Mhm.
flirting a bit here,
I
which
mean,
I know you were into.
flirting a bit.
A bit. Just a bit.
Rachel's like, "Oh, where's Marco?" And then Marco's like, "Oh, did you miss me? Haha." And then Cassie says, "Look at them. They're so cute." Yeah, they want to fuck. They are ready to go at it right there.
They are like kind of playfully pushing at each other. In fact, I think Jake uses the word lovebirds to make fun of them. I wonder if he's trying to
Oh my
subtly
God.
remind Rachel about Tobias here. Like, hold on,
Oh
Rachel.
my God. I mean, if I was Tobias and I saw this scene, I mean, I'd be getting into my cage. I would be psyched. God
Each
damn.
time.
The chemistry, maybe the only time, the most believable Brooke Nevin ever is on this show is when she's flirting with Marco.
Well, and Jake.
Right, and Jake.
Yeah, and Jake, of course.
That you can sell. God damn.
So
Anyway.
yeah, they go in here. They walk into this place in human morph. I don't know why they haven't morphed yet. They have to
Look.
like go in through the security fence into the hallways. They're still fucking kids.
Yes, I understand the show. They have actors they want you to see the actors, I'm willing to make that sacrifice and just accept it. But it is bizarre. I guess the idea is that this is a trap, but like it's pretty weird that there's not a single guard posted anywhere.
Yes.
Like
Or
they don't
camera,
even
like there's a fucking
Yes.
the morph detectors on the wall, but all it does is detect. There's no camera.
That's right. No camera at all. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, to be fair, that sort of thing occurs in the books all the time.
Yeah, it does happen all the time. That's not different. You're right.
But it doesn't make it less stupid.
No. Oh, by the way, hair down alert.
Thank you. Hair down.
Yeah.
I feel like his hair has been down more than up at this
His?
point. I that was just a slur. I didn't, and not that kind of a slur, like I'm drunk slur.
Oh, okay.
Not like when I'm drunk and I slur. Like,
Oh,
oh
no.
no. Oh no.
Oh,
JonTron, please.
Save us, give us a new audience, JonTron.
JonTron.
We're losing our old one.
JonTron.
Where are the Nazis, please? Here's where Marco's joke comes in.
Right. He says, how do you tell the difference between a horse and a fish?
Yeah, right. And we're not going to find out till the end when they come back.
Right. Pretty exciting.
But if you know it, post it in the chat.
That's right. We're reading our live chat right now, of course, as we do every week. So they do the morph here now. Marco and Jake turn into lizards and go into this locked door where I guess they think that Kandrona is. This is EGS Tower, right? That's what this is?
Yeah, I guess this is EGS Tower. They sure do
Yes.
seem like maybe they're on the ground floor.
Yes, it doesn't actually, you don't see a tower. Like they don't show you a shot of a skyscraper or
Yeah,
anything.
It almost seems like this could be any of the warehouses that they always go into whenever they're in a industrial warehouse place.
Correct. I don't know why Rachel and Cassie just stay in the hallway as humans and don't come with them.
They're the lookouts. In case something happens, they'll be there as humans.
Yes. Genius. Good plan, Jake.
Yeah. Smart.
Really nailing it. But of course, there is a security guard in his little thing that tells him that his Pizza Hut table is ready. Goes off.
Right, yes.
So he knows there's been morphing afoot.
Morphing afoot.
Oh, I hope you morph more than just a foot. Because otherwise you'd be like Rachel in that one scene in the book when she has bare feet.
You know, sometimes extreme heat can feel cold to the touch.
Yeah, so yeah, that is what they say when they discover the I guess it's the Kandrona, and there's piping and tubes that they're touching, and it's very cold.
Yeah.
And Marco has the great line where he says, "Isn't the Kandrona like their sun? Suns are hot." Which is also, by the way, what Jake's mom is saying when Marco comes over.
I thought you were going to say like Marco's dad in that earlier scene.
Yeah, that too. There was a lot of ways I could have gone with it.
Yeah, a ton of... What's funny about this scene to me, though, also, is that Jake is stupid. Because rather than saying, no, it's cold, he says, well, it must be extremely hot. That's why it feels cold. We do later find out it is, in fact, cold. Like, it feels cold because it's cold.
I am no scientist. If something is very hot, does it feel cold? Is that true?
I can imagine it being hot enough that it just feels like it burns, and if something is extremely cold, it would just feel like it burns. Like if you're wiping out anything other than the pain sense, maybe that's true.
Well, let's get Mythbusters on this one. I need to know.
Okay, yeah, get Mythbusters on it.
If something is hot, does it feel cold? Yeah. Anyway.
Room is all red. It is a trap.
Yes.
Alarm goes off. I do like I'm not gonna lie, I like the red room.
It's cool. I thought all of this stuff was cool. All the doors are closing in on them. They're getting trapped in, and it's like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, they get trapped in like a box. Now the box, it is a little confusing what exactly happens to them, and it's confusing because they don't really have a box to close on them. It really looks like they have a single sliding wall, so they have to shoot them getting trapped in from 4 different angles and pretend that those were all 4 walls.
I
But
got it.
yeah, I mean
figured it
it
out.
works.
And I figured out what was about to happen, and I was like, this is exciting.
It is pretty exciting, yeah. Because they get, I mean, we all know what happens when the Animorphs get trapped in a box.
That's right. They become a rat forever. And then, of course, fortunately, Rachel and Cassie are on the case. The room starts shaking. And Rachel says, the best way to break down a door is with a fire extinguisher, not by turning into, say, a lion who could easily
they're both
knock down a
fucking banging
door.
on the door, and I'm just like, Morph! What are you doing?
It is utterly ridiculous.
Also, Rachel gives like the fakest grunt. She's banging on the door with the fire hydrant, and she's like, It does not fucking sound like she is trying at all.
Yeah, it's a bizarre scene. Like, do they think that people watching this show are going to forget they can morph? It's the name of the show.
Fucking,
and then
it's not even just the. I'm going to go back actually to the new opening because you said they never say the word Animorph in this show, but the last line of the voiceover for the new opening is, "All I know is now I'm an Animorph."
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they know that.
They don't know. I am going to go on record as saying I think that is the first time they've ever said Animorph on the show. And it continues here when they need to sneak into a vent, and they're like, I think it's too small. Yeah. Turn into something.
It takes you 2 seconds in this show. It's not like you would have to wait for a few minutes. Like, it's also, by the way, the world's largest air duct. Like, Rachel says she thinks it's too small, and I'm like, what are you talking about? That air duct is fucking enormous. I don't know how they don't see you behind it.
Yeah, this is the most video game Metal Gear Solid air duct. It's enough. They both fit in it quite comfortably next to each other.
Yeah.
There's like a king-sized bed in there. And I think they're both very disappointed. They're like, Jake and Marco are gone. I think because they know that they're better characters. They're like, damn it. Now we have to hold up this show. Fuck.
Yeah. We had the fucking morph tracking technology plotline and the EGS tower plotline, and Jake and Marco are fucking blasting off to space now, and the two of them are going to have to handle both of those.
So now, here's where I'm really getting excited.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are blasting off into space.
Mm-hmm.
And this is pretty cool. They're in space.
Yeah.
Marco's making jokes that are funny.
They are in space. We get the gay cowboy porn music here, and this time we get the full song, lyrics and all.
Oh, right. Oh, so that is the same song from before? It's the
same song. Yep, sure is.
Okay, that song, of course, is Drown.
Yes.
Which, I don't know if you saw, I assume you saw it in the credits, and that's how you figured it out.
Yeah.
But in the credits, they just say it's by Steve Clark.
Yes, it's written by Steve Clark, and it's performed by Vibrolux.
Yeah, that's the band, Vibrolux.
Which does sound like a gay porn thing.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where the cowboy part comes in, to be honest.
I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking it because of the kind of like twangy sound, but like if you look at the actual album cover, it's got a fucking cowboy silhouette on it.
Yeah,
I didn't just make that up from nowhere.
Yeah, I kind of like the song. It's pretty good. If you find it on YouTube, it has 17,000 views, not as many as JonTron's Animorphs video. And one of the comments is Animorphs.
At least one other person found it that way.
Yeah, and someone said, reminds me of air ducts and being stuck in a flying shoebox.
God damn,
also indoor paint fights. So that's someone remembered this or looked this episode up specifically and knew from that song. I mean, or that song from that episode. Yeah.
That is really funny.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, I think the song is fine. It's no It's no song unsung by
No,
Eden White.
Eden White, yeah. No, it's I I think it's very funny when they put some music with actual lyrics into the background that wasn't written by them.
Yeah, Vibrolux, of course, is a Canadian band. They are from Toronto. And according to Last FM, they are still active. Since 1996, they are still a band. And also the lyrics to this song, I think maybe it's a pedophile song.
Hmm.
I don't know. Some of the lyrics, waiting for the time when I'll be near you. So close in, you're in our drown. Don't make a sound. And then later on, it says, why did I think this was a pedophile song?
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to. Maybe that's just a Freudian thing.
Oh, there's a line here. Painted colors our red guitar. You're younger than you are. I don't know. I thought that
I don't
was
even
a
know
little
what the
creepy.
fuck that means. I do remember that line from the show.
I don't know. You're younger than you are. I'm waiting for the time when I'll be near you. I think it's about a groomer.
About grooming. I see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Maybe
think.
it's just because of the Marco and his dad scene. You're getting the ideas.
Yeah, and also I think probably these lyrics are completely meaningless.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you know how Canadians are, right?
But they are
Kinda
mostly pedophiles.
Up
Yeah,
there, yeah.
right. Up north, anything goes. What happens in Canada stays in Canada.
Yeah, but they're in this box and they're in space. They like pry off a panel and get to look out a window.
A weirdly shaped window.
Yes, extremely weird window.
Marco's making jokes and Jake's like, "Come on, Marco," but they are funny. Marco does
as long as
not
they're
like.
funny.
At no point does he seem upset or concerned. He's just casually cracking jokes.
That's how Marco gets through it all, you know?
Yeah. Cut to Rachel and Cassie back on Earth. They're sneaking around in the air vents, and I guess they've come to a. What is this? Because this scene just feels like something from like Leia and Luke sneaking around the Death Star.
Oh,
It's like this cavernous
Yeah.
hallway with air vents and fans that they have to jump across. Like, what building
Yeah.
has this?
no, like it would make sense if it was like, oh, this is two buildings, right? Like I go out the window and there's a ledge and then there's another ledge I have to jump and there's a big drop, except that they are inside the whole time. They specifically say like, oh, there's a fan that must lead outside. If we unscrew the fan, we'll be able to get. I have no fucking idea what this thing is.
The
crazy.
EGS tower is it's the Death Star. It's a space station. It's insanity.
Yeah.
But we get to learn about how much Rachel loves gymnastics because she once again references like, I can make that jump because I'm gymnastics.
It is a pretty easy jump, to be perfectly honest.
It looks really small.
Yeah,
it does not. It does not look. And also, they don't even show. It's not like, are they going to fall into a bottomless pit? Like,
Yeah.
how high up? They're on ground level, aren't
And
they?
they still don't actually jump it. Like they have them jump and then they cut and then they have them land. So it's still too long for them to actually make it.
Well, they don't have stunt doubles, and they don't have in case if somebody twists their ankle, they can't afford to pay for that. So
They're fucked, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. I would have done it.
now what? Okay, whatever. I don't. Who even cares what they're doing?
Yeah. You're right. Who cares? But yeah, so Jake and Marco go into the Yerk mothership. I like this Yerk mothership.
Dude, it's
like
it's awesome.
it's so cool, right? Because we get
It's
to see
fucking
it from the
awesome.
outside. We didn't, given this show, I was not expecting to see it from the outside, right? I was expecting
Yeah.
we'd go up there, we'd be in Visser 3's Art Deco room, but dressed up like it's inside of a ship, right? But no, like you get to see the outside. It's cool.
I mean, I don't know how they did this shot. I don't know if it's CG or a miniature model or something. But it honestly looks, I mean, the video quality is not great, but it doesn't look that much different from, any like think of a 90s Independence Day I mean, maybe I'm being a little too charitable, but it looks pretty good, I think.
I mean, yeah, I think you might be being a little too charitable, but it is like I liked the other shots. That, like, even though you could always tell the blade ship was fake in the past, every time you saw it go through the sky, I was always like, yeah, that looks fine to me. I like it, and this is by far the best alien spaceship we've seen in this show.
Yeah, and you're seeing them getting beamed up. Yeah, it's just cool that they're doing it. And this kind, especially the next episode, we'll see how, like during the Elemist one, when I was saying, oh, I kind of wish they would just go for it and maybe just go full Doctor Who and don't worry about it looking bad. Just do the sci-fi shit. And they are doing that this episode.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of them doing it, we get on board. We see the interior of this ship. I also like the interior of this ship.
Pretty good.
I like the hallways. How would you describe it? They're like all orange and shit.
Yeah, I would say orange.
Bad description, but maybe you get what I'm saying.
It kind of looks like the walls are like big plastic tunnels that kids play in, but they're put vertically to look like tubing or something.
Yeah, like it looks like maybe they're like semi see-through and you can see light from the other side or something.
It kind of looks like from the Puppet Masters 1994, their hive, their base.
Right. Yeah. I think it looks cool. I like it.
Sure, it looks cool. It looks fine. I mean, now once again, the controllers with their flashlights open up the door, and of course they morphed into bugs.
Yeah.
So they don't, and they're like, "Where did they go?" Like, hold on. You know that they can morph. That's the whole way you caught them. Nobody thought they might morph.
Yeah, as I recall in the books, what happens is they try this, and some like Hork-Bajir is like, "Oh, no Andalites are in there? I better go in there to investigate." And Visser 3 decapitates them, and is like, "You fucking moron! They're probably bugs. What's wrong with you?"
Yeah. Or you just don't open the door. Like, don't let them get out. It's put a camera there, put a window. What if the door had see-through glass? Then they could have seen.
That is, look, in the books, they can make the cube see-through if they want. They just make it see-through. You could just put a window. Be easy.
It's completely ridiculous. Now let's break here for a second because this is Yerk number 1.
Okay.
Is the lead guy in the front here, who I guess he's not as recognizable to you. But I was like, oh, that's a guy. Like, this is an actual actor who I recognized. He's more in part 2 of this. His name is Patrick Gallagher.
Right.
And I realized why I recognize him is he was in a bunch of episodes of the TV show Glee, which I'm sure you never watched.
I did not.
He plays, what the fuck's his name? He plays Ken Tanaka on Glee. So that's a pretty high profile show. But he's also been in some other stuff. Some pretty big stuff. He was in, I mean, not in big parts, but he was in Master and Commander, Far Side of the World. He's in Sideways. He's in one episode of Battlestar Galactica. And perhaps most notably, he plays Attila the Hun in the Night at the Museum franchise, which you may recall was directed by Sean Levy.
Holy shit.
So Sean, either it's a coincidence
or met each other here.
Yeah, maybe he's like, that's the guy we bonded on Animorphs, and I'm bringing him in for my big franchise. Which, of course, makes me question, like, well, why didn't Boris Cabrera play Marco Polo, for instance?
Marco Polo.
Anybody. He could have played. Who's that conquistador? Who's that guy? One of those kind of guys.
Yeah, that guy.
That one guy. But that's kind of fun. He does a lot of stuff. Like, he's still a guy who's working and he's in a lot of things. So this has been one of the biggest actors on the show.
Yeah, I mean, every time you get anybody who's done anything.
And he's Canadian, of course. So
sure.
Who'd have figured? Anyway, that's okay. That detour out of the way.
Yeah.
Episode's almost over.
Episode is almost over. It's time for the big reveal, which is Visser 3 is doing, Marco and Jake are running around. They see Visser 3. He's putting on a big presentation. He's giving his big speech because he's captured the Andalites, and he's so happy about it. And he's gonna show them off to dun 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 Visser 1, which we know
Whoa.
from the books is Marco's mom.
Oh.
We get to see Marco's mom.
We sure do. And Jake says to Marco, "It's your mom," or something like that.
Yeah, well, maybe if we'd gotten flashback scenes of her and not just seen her in that one photograph, you know what I mean? Like if earlier in the
Yeah.
episode Marco had flashed back to playing with her as a, kid or something.
Right.
But,
It
yeah.
did really, the way he says it reminds me of in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. When of course Bill's dad is remarried and he has a young stepmom now, and there's one part and she's hot, and Bill is like looking down her shirt, and Ted goes, "It's your mom, dude." And that's what it reminded me of when Jake said that to Marco.
Good. I'm glad your brain's in the right place for this
It's your
episode.
mom, dude. Yeah, what would be good is a remake of a reboot, Bill and Ted, but it's Sean Ashmore and Boris Cabrera or Bill and Ted.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I think it would be good.
I mean, they're both like 50 now, so it's not really different from. Anyway, yeah. So it's we finally get Marco's mom.
Yes, played by Allegra Fulton.
Yes, and she has done some stuff. I didn't really know who she was, but she was in The Shape of Water, the Guillermo del Toro movie.
Yes.
I was trying to figure out.
Oh, I know
like,
which one she is. Yeah, because
I don't remember.
There was a clip show of performances she gave on her IMDb page, so I saw her performance in Shape of Water. She's when they're clocking in, there's like some lady behind the main character in line who like harasses her or whatever, who like yells at her for taking too long or something. And that's who this guy is.
I figured she was someone who like worked at the place.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. Yeah, she's not. She doesn't fuck a fish. Shape of Water.
No.
We should watch for the Patreon. Anyway,
because you fuck a animal.
Yeah, there's like
Should
an
be a
animal
bird.
monster, and they fuck it. I mean, yeah. She's also on The Good Doctor, that show about the autistic doctor who's good.
Must be a good show. Good doctor, good show.
Anyway, we can talk more about her performance, I think, in part 2, because we don't really see it here. But, yeah, I mean, should we just move right into it, or is there something else you want to say?
No. Unless, the only thing that I had for between episodes was like if you wanted to talk about her performance since we just saw her. I mean, I guess this closing scene with Marco is another point at which I was like, yeah, I like how Marco's actor handles it. I think he does it. He pulls it off, right?
Yeah,
It's a big emotion for a kid's show, right?
Yeah, for sure. Here's the question: do you think is this too late, or do you think it's works out okay that they waited this long to show Visser 1? Because in the books it's much earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I don't know what to make of it because it doesn't matter to me as much that they waited because they make less of a thing about it than they do in the books. But also maybe it's less impactful because they make less of a thing about it. Like, am I watching every episode thinking about Marco's mom, thinking about Marco wanting to quit? Nah, he's just the funny guy. He's here. I could easily just forget she exists.
Yeah. I think it's fine. I mean, the issue is more just that other episodes were bad,
Right?
Not that it's perfectly fine to move this around and change when it comes in, and I think it's still effective. In fact, it even could be more effective because the longer you take to build it up. But not that they did that.
Yeah, they'll throw all their good episodes toward the end of the season, maybe.
Right, it's sweeps week.
Yeah, it does get better. See,
I think February
sure it
actually
does.
is sweeps time, or maybe March is, but maybe it is February. I don't know. That's not a thing anymore. I don't think that exists now.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit about TV.
What a weird thing. Like Zoomers don't even know about sweeps.
What, like a broom? We're talking about witches out here?
Yeah, what are we talking about? Senna?
Yeah, way to bring it back.
Thanks. So, okay, part 2. It's time for part 2.
Oh God. Oh no. Well, like I said, I was very scared taking notes for part 1, but I think I will have less to say about part 2. So
Part 2, I think, is a little more. It's more straightforward, and there are fewer scenes that are longer. Like less stuff happens, and it's more.
sure.
One thing is happening for more time.
Right. Yes. Yes. Um. So of course, immediately they have to tell Victor Trent that the Andalites are missing, and he does some good line reads. You know, he's got the classic like, What has happened to the Andalites?" It's you know, it's fun. I love him. I love you,
Sure.
Victor Trent. I want to kiss you. I think it's even more fun seeing him get humiliated in front of a superior.
Mm-hmm. The first time we've ever seen that on the show.
It is.
Kind of a big deal. There should really be Hork-Bajir here.
I'm fine with there not being any Horks here. If they just forgot Hork-Bajir existed for the rest of the show, I'd be fine with it, I think.
What is the role of Horks in this universe? It's very confusing. Are they controllers? Are they just pets? Are they guard dogs? Are they science experiments? What are they doing here?
Who knows?
They're not here, though. They're not on this mothership. It is just humans, and also Visser 3 still in human form.
Right. Still in human form the whole time. It's
Which,
fine.
like,
I love
it's
him.
fine. It's fine. I do appreciate, though, Visser 1 for being someone who it actually makes sense to always be a human. In fact, the only
Yes.
character on the show. Because all the kids should be animals most of the time. She's the only one who is perfectly reasonable for her to be in human form all the time.
I almost wish that they just made Visser 3 not an Andalite. And they were just
Truly.
like, he's just a
Yeah.
fucking human. What do you want?
Yeah, because there's no, like, we don't know who Alaran is.
Yeah.
We don't know. Like, Axe has never been like, oh, you're an Andalite. Like, that makes me mad. Like, he hasn't even brought that up. I don't
Yeah, that
think.
doesn't even fucking matter that he's an Andalite.
We got
th-
that
I
one
mean,
fight
and
scene.
him being Elfangor's nemesis or whatever, it's like, okay, sure,
Yeah.
who cares? He's a Yerk.
Yeah,
Be an
exactly. Yeah,
anybody.
it completely does not matter on this show. You might as well have just made him a Yerk and a human.
Yeah.
Who cares? Which they basically did.
They basically did, except they didn't. So now we're sitting here being like, why isn't he an Andalite? Because it's good. That's why.
So, I mean, now this is where we get to see really our first taste of this Visser 1.
Yes.
I don't know. What do you think about her performance?
It's not bad, but it's not necessarily what I wanted. She's a little bit too like imperious and stony faced. Like she's very very like villainous and like hard or whatever. And she does do some decent scoffing at Visser 3, which I like. I like the scoffing and the sneering. There's some decent sneers. But I wish she had a little bit more like eye rolling. I wish she was a little bit more flamboyant. I mean, really, here's the problem. Maybe I'm a racist, JonTron,
you
if
are.
you're listening. But I kind of wanted her to be more telenovela villain,
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about race because I don't see color.
No, but like seriously, I do think when I picture her in the book, she is a little bit more like, incompetent fool, you would know if da 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 kind of thing. And I was hoping for a little more energy in that sense. Here she feels more yerky and alien and less like she might be picking up mannerisms of her or using mannerisms of her host to express her yerk anger.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's a tough characterization to really get down, especially like at this point in the show and in the books. I mean, at this point in the books, they were up to what, like book 25 or 6 or something?
5.
Book 25?
5.
No. I'm talking about
you
in
mean
real...
the show? Yeah. Depending on which exact month this came out, 26 or 27.
Okay, so like we didn't like Visser 1. I don't know that we had that much about her besides I don't
We
even know
had
if we
seen
really
her twice at this point.
Yeah, so there's not as much to go off of
Mhm.
other than like I'm evil.
Yeah,
but
and I do think
yeah.
that some of what I'm saying about how she was in the books is like that's not necessarily fully objective. Like I don't think that it's like, oh, if you read her as being more like she is in the show, I don't think I would say, oh, well, that's just an incorrect reading, right? Like I think it's you probably
Yeah.
could.
It's hard because I do feel like it's a little off, but I don't know that I can pinpoint exactly why.
Hmm.
Maybe it's what you're saying. You just don't quite see maybe she doesn't seem smart enough. Like she's supposed to be way
Hmm.
smarter than Visser 3, who's just the biggest dumbass alive.
Yeah, I mean, well, also part of that is the lower energy because like she's sneering at him when he's stupid, but she's not like calling him out. She's just being like, "Oh, you lost them, you don't say." You know, she's not being like, "It's
Hmm.
called a gorilla, dumbass. You would know that if you spent even 2 seconds studying a single thing about the planet that you were supposed to be conquering right now." Like she
Yeah.
doesn't say that many words.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think Marco's mom kind of a MILF.
Hmm. I was thinking I wanted her hotter.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say that too. She should be hot. She's Marco's mom isn't hot enough.
Right. Yeah. Not the first time we've made that might be the first time we've made that complaint about a piece of media on the show.
I come on. It's
On
not. You
the
shouldn't refer to women as a piece of
on the
media.
on the Patreon.
Mm.
Piece of media? Oh, I get it. Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny. Oh, that's
Hey.
really funny. God
Well,
damn. Holy
thanks.
shit.
Yeah. That's right. You don't hear that kind of shit watching JonTron videos. You got to listen to this.
You probably do.
Maybe you do. And maybe you do a lot.
Nah, there's no way he's that funny.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, yeah, so not the ideal. It's not a home run in the way that Victor Trent is, but
Mhm.
it's okay. She's okay. She's just fine.
Yeah, for a first appearance, it's fine. If I'm gonna see her more, which I don't know if I'll ever see her again,
We might never see her again.
then I would want to see a little bit more brought to the performance. But
Yeah, that's pretty fair. Are Cassie and Rachel still in this show?
are they? That's a good. Oh yeah, they're in the ducts. They're in some kind of weird
Yeah.
duct panopticon thing.
They're
What
in
is
I
this
think it's
thing?
a play place at McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. There's like a crossroads of like 8 ducts into a central duct tower.
It's laser tag or something in there.
Yeah, I don't know. They
Cassie makes reference to like, oh, I wish I could morph into a mouse. I'm like, why can't you? Why didn't you? I'm sure there's 25 mice in your fucking barn.
well because of the sensors, right? That's supposed to remind you they have sensors.
Wait, do they know about them at this point? Did they
Uh,
figure that out?
Rachel's been saying it. You know, you make a good point. Rachel has been saying we don't know where the sensors are, so it's not safe to morph. I am not sure. Did she overhear them talking? She might. They were in
How
the
do
room
they
with them.
know?
Maybe she overheard them talk about it.
Oh, that must be it. Yeah. But it does kind of seem like for the rest of this episode, the morphing sensors are not important.
Yes, we won't talk about them again, and we won't solve the problem that the Yerks have them. Do you think they will come up?
Right. Yeah,
You think they'll even remember?
that is a great question. I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to see them again. It's the Wile E. Coyote thing. We tried it once, they still
Right.
got away, so scrap them.
Not even like we tried it once and they broke it, so we're not going to make a second one. Like they got away.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it worked, but they got away. So
Yeah.
we got to come up with a new thing,
like those Gleet biofilters. We didn't catch them.
right? Yeah,
Remember
what
those?
happened to those? Yeah, those are gone. Hork-Bajirs didn't work out. Get rid of them.
No more Horks. Yeah, that's right.
Guards, they keep fighting our guards, or the guards just run away. So just don't post any guards.
That's why there's no guards in the hallway.
Yeah, they're like, guards didn't work.
Didn't work.
They have a big list. Cross that off. Guards, no. We haven't tried cameras yet. That's going to come up at some point. Tiny nets? Nope. Tiny net didn't work. They had a
They
knife.
did. Yeah, they did try the tiny net.
We've been talking a lot about Marco and Rachel and Marco and his dad.
Mhm.
I do think in this scene, Cassie and
Yes.
Rachel are flirting a little
Yes,
bit.
there is. I was already thinking there was some flirting going on, and then there's. Cassie's like, "You sound like our fearless leader," and Rachel says like, "Oh, if you say I
Yeah.
look like him too, you're gonna be in big trouble." And I was just like, "Why are you gonna kiss her? Is that what you're saying here? Is that what's happening?"
Yeah, they're both fantasizing that the other one is Jake. Do you think, are we just freaks? Are people listening to this
think-
like, why are they constantly talking about these characters fucking, these sick fucks?
No, I think we're totally normal. I think everyone reacts this way. How could you not?
Okay. Okay, you're right.
You know,
I
you
just wanted
read
to
all the
check.
books, you had all these ideas, we read these fanfics, and then you see it live, and you're like, I mean, it just goes crazy.
That's right.
Every
just
fanfic I've
goes
ever read
crazy.
comes pouring out of my subconscious.
Listen, Sean Levy knows, he recognizes chemistry when he sees it, and he's capitalizing on that.
Yeah, he's like, these characters never give me any other emotion. If they're giving me chemistry, I'm putting the chemistry in. I don't care who it's for.
Two of them are all alone in the ducts. No one around to judge.
In the ducts, the most romantic location.
Yeah.
We can go back to this mothership.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah. We go back to the mothership, which I am 90% sure. So we're in Visser 1's quarters now.
I'm 100%
pretty-
sure of what you're about to say.
Okay, good. This is the same set as we always see of Visser 3's science lab that they've just redressed with a bunch of plants.
Yes, this is her plant room. It has his Art Deco doors.
At first I thought, oh, they reused that same door, and then I was like, no, it's the
Yeah, but-
same damn room.
Yeah, right. Like they didn't fucking take the door off its hinges, or buy two sets of that door and put it. No. It's the same damn room. Of course it is.
Which, I mean, sure, that's just what Yerk doors
Yeah.
look like.
No, canonically, we now know that is a symbol of status in Yerk society. If you're walking around a Yerk ship, you see doors with that pattern. It means Visser.
Now, what is this? She's a gardener? She has a greenhouse? What is this aspect of her character?
Yeah, I mean, she likes flowers because they're
'Cause she's a
soothing
mom?
to her human form. She
Yeah,
has something.
but there's no, Marco didn't tell a story about her getting flowers for Mother's Day. Like, what?
No. But something about admiration for the host's traits or something. Although Visser didn't come out yet, so we don't know that part of her lore. So they just made this up, I guess.
It's something for the actor to do that's got props for her to play with and something for her to think about for her character that's kind of
Yeah.
like a Bond villain, like instead of a cat to pet, you have plants to water.
Right. And I bet the mom thing does come into it, right? They're like, I need something like motherly that you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be creepy with, right? I won't, so
Right.
like maybe you've got your flowers in your flower garden or something.
It's like, that's fine, but it's not going to go deeper than that. So it's just sort of,
Yeah.
it just goes nowhere.
Yeah. I do like how she says, I have it written down, but that doesn't help me. When she tells Visser 3 to enter, she does say it like, enter, or something. It's very weird. She like sings it at him.
They're a strange bunch, these Yerks. There's no sub-Vissers around. Again, there's no Horks. It's just a bunch of regular ass dudes in gray suits, and then these two.
Right. I like these two's back and forth. I will say that. And
Yeah.
even though I do think Eugene Lipinski is carrying it, it still works. I enjoy it.
Yes, I think it is good enough. You get their rivalry set up here.
Mm-hmm.
It works, and that relationship is still strong enough that even if it's not stellar, it's fun
Yeah.
to watch. Here's my real burning question about this scene.
Okay.
Because during this scene, Marco and Jake are in lizard morph,
Right. On the ceiling.
and they are on clinging to the ceiling, which appears to be made of cotton or something.
Asbestos?
It's clearly a shot of lizards just sitting, and they flipped it upside down. But the lizards, tell me if I'm crazy. Every other time they turn into lizards, they look like little geckos, kind of, including in the last episode. I think they looked like geckos or salamanders, some kind of little fast lizard. And on this ceiling, to me, it looks like two full-grown iguanas. It looks like a completely different, much larger species of lizard. Am I crazy?
I would have to look back at them because I can't tell about the larger thing. There could be small lizards here and it's just a perspective issue. But if they were like geckos, if they were geckos, you should be able to tell from like the head shape because this is not a gecko head shape here.
No, it's not. I mean, those are definitely iguanas. Would you agree?
I'm not sure.
You don't think that's an iguana-ass lizard to me?
It's an iguana-like lizard, but it could be like a small thing. I mean, it's definitely not a big iguana because it doesn't have enough beading all over its skin, you know?
Right. I mean, there's different sizes of iguana. Now, look, because I'm crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone back to the previous episode.
Okay, thank you, because I was thinking we could do that.
Listeners, you'll have to just go with our description. I'm going to send Will a screenshot of this lizard. It has a much longer tail and a smaller head. It is not the same lizard. There's no way. That is a different ass lizard.
Let me take a look at this bad boy.
Regardless of whether or not these new ones are iguanas, that's a different lizard.
Let's take a look. I'm not sure it does have a longer tail, although I can't tell. The problem is that on the shot I'm on here, these lizards have their tails cut off partway through. So I can't see how long they actually go. Head shape is similar. They still have the long back claws.
No,
it's not clear to me.
That is no, you're crazy. The eyes looks different. The head is
What do you mean
rounder.
the eyes? You've sent me the blurriest like outline.
You can see
there is
the
no
eyes.
way you can actually see the fucking eye on this thing. I am
you
zoomed
just have
all the way
terrible
in on
vision.
it. There is like a splotch of color on another splotch of color.
We do need to clarify that you do have terrible vision.
My vision is fine with contacts.
No, are they in?
Yeah, of course.
You're telling me though. I'm putting these up on our Twitter account. Go to twitter.com/ or x.com/ the Yerky Boys. I'm going to post a tweet. Listeners can look at these lizards.
You
and decide
cannot
for
see
themselves.
enough detail on that first picture to actually
Yes, you
rule
can.
out. You
Those
cannot.
are two different lizards. It is much smaller. Its legs are shorter. Look how much shorter the legs are compared to that other one. That's a different
How
lizard.
can you tell that they're not just bunched up? Look, it's all like
There's
shattered
no
out.
spiky. There's little spikies on the back of the neck. There's none of those spikies on
Let me
that
see
lizard.
the back of the neck, because I was going to say on the back of the back, the angle is wrong, but on the neck,
This is the worst
maybe.
podcast
It's hard
ever.
to tell.
This is not
Could
a
be.
good podcast. Anyway,
Well,
look,
listeners, you'll have to tell us what you think about these lizards.
I don't even know what I'm complaining about. Like, it's not even a continuity error. Technically, they could turn into two different lizards.
Look, I do see there are some slight differences in shape, but there is not enough detail in that pic to be sure that it's not just a strange angle thing going on. It's too blurry.
I'll find a better picture, all right? Even though the
Okay.
picture is fine and you can tell if you have good eyes.
I don't think that's true. Like I said,
If you
I
have-
zoomed
yes,
in
it's true.
literally
I
all
know.
the way. I can see how much detail you could
know.
If you're seeing
Yeah.
more detail than I am, it's because you're imagining
Yes, it's
it.
because my eyes are better than
No,
yours.
it's not.
Well, how would you know if your eyes are worse? You wouldn't
Because
know.
I have it zoomed all the way in.
That
I
doesn't
can
that,
see
that
every
makes it
pixel on the
blurrier.
damn thing.
That makes it
Yeah,
blurrier.
exactly. No, that's exactly my point. I see exactly how much detail is there. If it's not that blurry to you, you are imagining extra detail.
No, it's called my brain is telling me where the detail is because it's a good
Yeah,
brain.
you're fucking AIing it in. You don't
Well,
know.
We're going to let the listeners decide.
They can see. They can find out. Listen, we don't have
They're gonna
time
tell
for
us.
lizards.
Also, I look at these lizards. I don't think those are the kinds of lizards that can be on the ceiling. Like they would fall down. Those aren't cling to ceiling lizards. That's like a
Yeah.
pet iguana in a tank.
Yeah, if these lizards are clinging, they're doing it by their claws. They're not doing it by suction, the way a gecko would.
Yeah, and that does not look like their claws are in anything. They're just like
Yeah.
Spider-Man on the wall.
Yeah, like I'm not going to say if these things are small, then they probably could hang from those claws, but they do not look like they're doing it. This is a great conversation. This is what our listeners tune in for. This is why we're the #1 Animorphs podcast in the whole world.
Anyway, Marco's mom isn't hot enough. Okay. Then we can move on. I don't know. What do we move on to? Cassie and Rachel. Now, because they're there too. Someone says something about a blender. Why do they say something about a blender?
I'm not sure. I remember this line, but I don't know. Jake says or Jake? Somebody, one of the two, says something about a blender. I don't know. They make their way to the Blade ship because they're running away. The Blade ship is, of course, completely unguarded. They just make it there. It's fine. But Marco then doesn't want to go without his mom, so they have a whole argument. And this is a part that feels a bit like padding to me, because they're going to go back and forth here, right?
Did you just skip over the entire Cassie and Rachel scene?
Yes, I have one note about it, and I swear to God, it can't be more than 30 seconds. I think my note here says, now it's Cass and Rach in the red room. And then I'm back to Jake and Marco.
Red room. I liked that they did the exact same. They repeated the, hey, is it hot? No, it's cold. The exact same exchange.
They do that after Marco and Jake talk.
Oh, they do? That's later?
Yeah, because I have that note here too.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
Okay,
we can talk about them in any order. It doesn't matter. Fuck it. Yes, they have the exact same exchange.
I guess I didn't have notes about the Marco and Jake scene.
Oh, well, my only note is that once again, I think Marco does sell it. His whole, I'm not leaving on this Blade ship. I'm staying for my mom, and you can come with me or not. I think he sells it. So.
Yeah, sure. And I like these. We get to see more of the spaceship, and I think the sets are doing it for me. I like them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
they're cheesy,
sets, so
but
good.
they're fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You're right. So then we go back to the real Rachel and Cassie scene.
Right.
Now they're in the Kandrona room, which I guess I thought when they went to space, like the whole thing was a spaceship, but the Kandrona's also still here. It's like, different?
It was different. It was a totally different plot. When they went to space in this plot, the first time they were trying to hijack a bug fighter, but then the Yeerks just knew it was them and just put them in a box and took off with them in a Blade ship.
Okay.
So here, I guess they put a box in the tower and the box took off or something.
Sure.
I don't know.
And then Rachel comes over holding 2 wrenches, one in each hand. That's her plan for what to do, which we will find out in a little bit. The plan is to overheat the Kandrona.
Yes. It's supposed to be hot, but they're keeping it cold. So, smash the thing with wrenches.
So, right. This is the logic that Rachel deduces.
Right. Which honestly makes more sense than saying, oh, well, it's probably just hot, but it feels cold because it's so hot.
It kind of makes sense, except that what it amounts to is just them smashing the shit out of it. You didn't need to justify it with some kind of scientific explanation. You could just say, hey, let's just break it.
Well, how do you know which part's important? You know what I mean? Like, I could
all
just be
of
smashing a random...
Smash everything. Smash it all. It's not that big. Just start smashing.
Now, I do love... You did skip over when she comes over with the 2 wrenches. She has... It's very silly, because Cassie's like, what, you have a plan? And Rachel says, like, yes, I do. And gives this really goofy smile. It's a very funny scene.
Yeah, see? She got some good stuff in her.
Yeah.
Pulling out the double
That's
wrenches.
Rachel's...
Goofy Rachel. We love Goofy Rachel. You know
yes.
what? Have we said this theory before? Maybe this is nice Rachel.
Oh shit. Maybe we did say that theory before.
Yeah, maybe she got separated much earlier and Mean Rachel is just somewhere else.
Oh, well, I'm excited for the Mean Rachel episode where Mean Rachel shows up and we find out there was a separation.
Well, in this version, if they actually did the separation in this show, which wouldn't be that surprising, honestly. I don't know if it was written in time, but it would just be like the Kirk episode, like, oh, there's an evil one now, and it wouldn't have anything to do with her actual character.
Right, yeah. No, I don't know
out
what
of left
you would
field.
split that with. How about how this Kandrona works? Because it's not the same as the books.
Yeah.
Because here they say that this is somehow feeding all the Yerks above ground from the tower, right? Like, so I guess the Yerk pool Kandrona is underground, and then the tower Kandrona here is feeding all the, like, they're trying to install a new one so they won't have to go to the pool. Now, in the books,
I
this
don't know.
Kandrona was just the pool's Kandrona. It was the main Kandrona on Earth. When they break it, it's a big deal. So, like,
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't have a clue, and I didn't try to understand
They
it.
talk about Kandrona waves and all that stuff, and it wasn't clear from the way they were talking about it if you even needed an above ground pool, or if it would just beam the Kandrona rays
above ground
to you,
pool.
or what the fuck. It was weird. I don't know what it was.
It's just funny, an above ground pool. Yeah, is it kidney shaped or what?
Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
is funny. You're right.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's a MacGuffin. It doesn't. What is a Kandrona? On this show, it doesn't fucking matter. It's a thing the Yerks like.
Yeah.
They don't. Nobody cares. Smash it. Just smash it.
and by the way, after they smash it and break it, it's not like we go back to Marco and Jake and Visser 3's like, what? Somebody smashed the new Kandrona? And Visser 1's like, oh, you incompetent fool. You didn't even get all of them. No, they just don't. They smash it, and then they're going to get chased. That's, nobody cares that happened. The plot foiled.
That's on Earth.
Right.
They don't have that long range communication in place.
Yeah, that's not what's happening over there.
No. Yeah, it doesn't matter. All right. Then Marco and Jake are on the ship. Of course, everyone's still just walking around as a human.
Right. Yeah, of course.
I mean, these kids are on an alien spaceship, just sneaking around as human beings. It's whatever. We can't dwell on that anymore. It's ridiculous, but fine.
Yeah.
This scene where and then they start getting chased. They're both being chased simultaneously by two sets of controllers in hallways.
There's a lot of chasing.
Kind of reminded me a little bit of Invaders from Mars. running around the underground caverns.
Yes, I see that.
Felt a little bit like that. But Marco and Jake do make it back to the Blade ship, which nobody has thought to, again, like lock the door.
Nobody thought to guard it. Yeah, and this is kind of what I was saying earlier. Like, we have a whole scene where they get to the Blade ship, say they're going to take it, then say, no, we're going to stay for my mom, leave the Blade ship, then get chased back to the Blade ship. And, like, I'm not saying that I don't want Marco to be like, I want to stay here, but it does feel like there's enough repetition. You could have easily cut at least a minute and lost nothing from this. It did feel like it was a little padded out here, even outside of just the long action sequence.
That could have maybe been where you put Tobias and Axe, for instance.
Right, yeah. They can be like, Tobias shows up and is like, hey, Axe, what have you been doing? Axe is like, laying low. You know me.
The C plot of this is Axe just talking to Tobias about these messages.
God, that would really improve this show if there was 30 seconds worth of that C plot every episode.
Hell yes. But they do make it to the ship and they have to figure out the controls. So, by the way, the control panel of the Blade ship is literally just a sound mixer.
Yes. Yes, it sure is. It's very obvious that it is, too. Like, knowing nothing about it, I knew that immediately.
They did not try to disguise it. They did not change the words or the colors of the buttons. They're just moving dials and knobs up and down on a sound mixer like they're DJs. It's, I guess in the year 1999, kids watching this just wouldn't know what that looks like.
I mean, maybe.
But man, I mean, it really is the Mystery Science Theater comparison is apt.
I mean, listen, I still like Jake and Marco here. I enjoy their banter. I like them like thrashing around trying to figure it out, but it is so fucking stupid that it's just like, oh no, we got in the alien spaceship, we got to press the aux 1 and aux 2 and aux 3 buttons. What could those be? I don't know. Some weird alien language.
Yeah, right. Why is it in English? One says auto mix. It's just
Yeah.
fucking music buttons. Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my God.
I can only imagine the. I'm really wondering, like, was Sean Levy frustrated? Was he like, God damn it, this fucking show, the budget, my schedule sucks. This is what they're giving me to work with, or was everybody just like, who gives a shit? We're just having a good time.
Grab the first thing you can get. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
So fucking silly. I mean,
Yeah.
I like it though.
Yeah. No, it is funny. They fuck it. Okay, so the ship is like turned around and heading back toward the mothership. Now, am I interpreting this right? That there's there's no reason for this other than they just fucked up steering it and steered it back at the Yerk ship?
I have no idea.
Because
I don't know.
I was operating under the assumption that maybe the Yerks controlled it or put it on autopilot, but we're gonna find out later that they can just put it on autopilot for Earth. So that I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, I mean, there's more unclear things about the autopilot for me.
There will be, yes.
But this is the big. Okay, now we finally have a reason for Axe to be in this episode.
Yes, we do. Although first we get a scene with Visser 3 and 1 in the plant room, and Visser 1 says they can't fire on the blade ship because it might be the andalite they need for the disc. Remember the disc?
Right.
Which we've all completely forgotten about.
Yeah, we should mention that they mentioned the disc.
Yeah, just so you remember it exists. You're not blindsided by it.
It's not.
In
They're
2
no
episodes
longer.
when they mention it again.
No one says anything about taking them as hosts, which was the usual go-to reason not
Right.
to kill them.
Right. And this also feels like this is the way in which Visser 1 helps them. I did kind of miss I wish we had gotten the scene in the book where
Yeah.
they get cornered and then Visser 1's troops just show up and flashlight Visser 3's troops and are like, there's the blade ship, see ya, get out of here. Haha. I think that
Yeah.
would have been fun and you could have done that pretty easily.
Yeah, that's true. But I think they weren't ready for Marco and his mom to actually like see each other. I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, yeah, so they would have had to actually be animals.
Right, yeah.
That
I
would have
don't
been a
know.
problem, yeah.
Okay, but Visser 3 is like screaming to the universe in thought speak,
Right.
and Axe can hear it on Earth.
Hmm.
And then he introduces a concept which is utterly ridiculous, that the older and more powerful you are, the farther you can broadcast your thought speech.
Sure.
And he uses the word powerful like it's Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
And just you're fucking like, what does that mean? Visser 3 is more powerful than me. Like, what does that mean? He trained his mind? What does that mean?
I don't know. I mean, also that they're saying, Axe, you gotta try calling back, and he's saying I'm not powerful enough. And they say, well, Axe, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Wayne Gretzky. And Axe says, that's right, you're right. And then he just does it.
They're Canadian. They love hockey, so that checks
Right.
out. Yeah, and then he does
but it
it.
doesn't. It's just kind of like, why did he think that he couldn't do it? He can.
Right. There's no.
Why can he now? I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't get a moment of overcoming something.
Is he powerful? Maybe is that what I'm
Like
finding
that's
out here?
something you could have set up in like part 1. Maybe there's something Axe is trying to do that he fails at, and then in here it's like, oh, he found the courage because his friends needed him or
We
something.
don't even know who the fuck this guy is. They've never really mentioned him before. He's not in the opening. They just, Rachel and Cassie escape, and now they're in a barn, and they're like, hey, guy whose name is Axe, do you think you can telepathically tell Jake and Marco how to steer this blade ship that they're apparently in back? And Axe is like, I don't know, I'll try.
Yeah. Well, but it does work, and he's giving them directions on the control panel, and there is kind of a funny part where he's like, find this button, and then they press it, and then he's like, don't press it. That's funny.
Yeah, that is funny. Now, the joke it was funny, and I did laugh, but I did immediately circle back and say, he says, let's see, I got it written down. He says, find the Z-Space Harmonics Navigator controls. Okay, I know what that does, right? It navigates you into
course.
Z-Space.
Right.
What else could it do?
Well, in this, it doesn't do anything.
Well, in this, they press it, the lights turn off, and he says, that button
yeah.
just turns off the lights.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, that's not what Z-Space Harmonics Navigator means.
Well,
it means you're navigating Z-Space.
No, I think
is what it means.
He was just, that's not the Z-Space button. He was using that button as a guide point because the Z-Space button is what they were supposed to press underneath it.
Okay. So maybe the button he described wasn't that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they also they don't go into Z-Space.
No, they don't. I'm pretty sure it's the button that they press first, the one with the little waves that turns off the lights.
I don't know.
I mean, what's it say on the button? I think it just says little waves, right?
Yeah, it's just got a little squiggly line.
Yeah, that's harmonics.
It looked to me like someone took a Sharpie and just drew a line on one of the buttons.
Right.
There's also a part where he's like, press the green button, and I swear there's 5 green buttons. Like, I don't know how they knew which one to press. Then, okay, this is the best part.
Yeah,
so
this is the best part, yes.
It's like, okay,
stupid.
We can use the ship's autopilot, which, well, he says guided navigation, and Cassie's like, oh, you mean autopilot? Like, shut the fuck up. Of course, that's what that means.
Yeah.
You don't need to explain that.
Yeah, that means similar things. Self-guidance. I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
Fucking Christ.
That's the easier thing to understand than autopilot. That's the dumbed down version of it. Okay, it doesn't matter. There's 2 buttons for autopilot. One of them goes to Earth. The other one goes to the Yerk planet. They are both identical, right next to each other, and unlabeled. So, like, the Yerks don't label their own button. How do they know?
They just know. They just remember which one's
And
which.
how does Axe know? He's
know?
been on a blade ship before?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I was saying earlier, is because I initially assumed they must be going back to the mothership because the Yerks did something, but like, no, Axe is just like, press the button. So clearly the Yerks didn't do anything to this ship.
Third question, shouldn't there be at least one more autopilot button because it
what
went
about
to
the mothership?
To the mothership? Yeah. That doesn't get a button? What the fuck? Imagine if in your car your GPS was just 3 buttons. You have to assign. There's no map. You just press home, work.
There's 2 buttons. There's home and dealership. That's where your car can go.
Yeah, where on the Yerk planet does autopilot take you? Like,
yeah, isn't it blockaded?
It's a whole planet
By the Andalites right now?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Apparently
hey.
not.
Yeah, they just don't press that by accident because you're fucked.
Does the symbol on this button kind of look like a cock and balls?
A penis? Oh, yeah. No, not to me, no.
Okay, good. Well, good. Me neither.
No. Yeah, okay.
No.
Right, no.
Yeah,
no, I didn't think so.
Just making sure. I just wanted to check.
Right.
But like, seriously, what is this fucking? It's like the cut the blue wire thing or whatever. We don't. Which one are they? Are they gonna go to the Yerk pool? Oh no! Like, it's so stupid. Why?
And then they've just pressed the right one.
Yeah, of course they do.
That's it.
We don't have time for that. What, you thought that this was going to be a 4-hour episode because they're going to go to the Yerk planet now? No.
This is the first time on the show that they've really introduced the idea of the Yerk planet as like a place you could go.
Yes, I think that's correct.
I don't know. It's something worth noting, maybe.
Sure.
They cut back to the barn.
Yeah.
Marco and Jake are home and they're very dirty.
They're covered in a very artificial looking green goo because they landed in a swamp.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't like, is that just supposed to be mud or is that from the ship or something? What did they do with this ship, by the way?
It sank in the bog.
Okay, good.
They need a Yoda to come back and get it out.
I was going to say that if you didn't.
Yeah, good.
Marco and Rachel just again, they really need to fuck already.
Honestly, I'm seeing Cassie giving Jake some eyes in this scene too.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's the obvious one, is because
Right.
they're all like, "Oh, Cassie, look at you,
Mhm.
looking at Jake, ooga
Yes,
booga booga."
Marco and Rachel too. Actually, Axe is kind of checking out Marco and
Mm.
Jake too.
Yeah, I mean, well, Axe is
all-
disturbingly handsome.
They're all kind of. I mean, there's some sexual tension in this scene. It must be the goop. I think it. You know
It's
how
the goop.
makes
Yep.
me get.
I know. I do know. Here's one thing. So, and then you have a little heart to heart Marco Jake, which is like where Marco says, "Don't tell the others about my mom."
Hmm.
One note that I will say that I think is worth praising the show for this episode. I do think the music is better. And by that I mean there is music. Like background music, not drowned by Vibrolux. But I think the fact that we haven't mentioned it is a step up, because in many previous episodes there's been this awkward silence or strange sound effects, and I didn't feel that here in this scene. I was like, oh, there's actually music underneath them. That's why it doesn't feel awkward. they
There
did
are
their
a
job.
couple points here where some of the music is. I was noting it. It wasn't a huge deal, but I do think that the music in this series, like the actiony music, is really fun and campy, and the more like heartfelt music is kind of not that great.
Yeah,
But it
it's
is
cheesy.
there. It is there.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
Okay.
And then I liked this ending.
Mm-hmm.
Marco's dad puts a little frame
Yeah.
around the hand turkey.
Yeah, it's nice. It's really
It's
good.
adorable.
Yeah. And he's got a
It's
great,
good.
honestly, he's got a great line where he says, I bet your mom is watching from up there. That's a good
Yeah.
line. Come on. That's great.
Yeah. And Marco's like, oh, if only you knew, Dad.
You knew. Yeah, no,
Winks.
they're good. Marco and his dad are good in this episode.
Biggest plot hole in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
We still do not know how you tell the difference between a horse and a fish.
You can fuck a horse, but you can't fuck a fish.
No, again, Shape of Water. We already talked about that. So we know that's not true. But that is, yeah, all the gang visits Marco at the end. And by all the gang, I of course mean, the important ones.
Right, not Axe and Tobias.
No, we don't give a shit about them. And and they're just they ask him, like, so how do you tell the difference? And credits. So is this a real joke, or
Yeah, that's
is
the
this
question.
just a bait and switch?
Did
Not a
they
bait and
make
switch,
up
but
something that sounded like a joke?
I need to know.
What does Google say?
How do you tell the difference between a horse and a fish? Oh, I think this is maybe a real joke. Hold on.
Okay, so
Not a
What?
dish. Fucking Google.
Facebook Animorphs Yerk posting says, check their ears. It's a dead giveaway. Horses have external pointy ears and fish have indented ear holes. I don't think
don't
that's
get-
the real joke.
I don't get it.
I don't think that's it.
Yeah, I don't think this is a real joke. I'm getting nothing for this. We have to come up with our own punchline, I guess.
I guess
I mean,
we
yours
do.
was good. Yours was a good pitch.
Yeah, that's our rough draft.
You can tune a horse, but you can't tune a fish.
That is what I was working off of.
Horses have bigger dicks. That's
Sure.
actually pretty funny.
Uh,
That's probably why they cut it, because they couldn't say that on
Yeah.
a kids show.
I don't want to fuck a horse. Something like one of those type things.
Huh, right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're going to need listeners to maybe submit their guesses for this too.
You can lead a horse to water, but fish already live in water. That's funny, right?
That sounds like a joke Axe would tell. Yeah. I don't know. These were good episodes.
I liked them.
The first part was definitely better than the second part.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think was, I think I felt that way. I don't know if I thought part one was better than part two in the capture, but I did feel like maybe it was the other way around. But it did kind of feel like both of them have this thing of a lot of stuff happens that's set up in part 1, and then part 2 is like the resolution.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's great, but they do feel a little uneven.
Yeah, I would agree because there's so much more happening. But yes, Marco has a lot of great character moments. He and his dad have good chemistry. All the spaceship stuff is really fun. Um, even Cassie and Rachel running through the halls, at least they do stuff and talk to each other.
They passed the Bechdel test.
Right. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I like being in space. I like seeing Marco's mom. Um, if I were going to fill out that last episode, cut down some of the action and put in some things, it would be some of the more politics between Visser 3 and Visser 1, or possibly you could lift, because I don't know if we're going to ever see her again is the problem. You could lift that moment from book 15 where Marco and his mom, because there's a bit in this episode where Marco says, if she sees me, she'll break that yerk. And I was almost wondering, oh, are they going to do the scene where they come face to face and Marco's kind of freaking out and his mom's just like, you have to do a better job controlling your host. What, you think my host isn't screaming? Get your shit together. And then leaves. I thought maybe they'd do that, but I'd try to get a couple moments like that in there. But maybe they're saving them.
You gotta save that for the second meet. You can't just throw it all into the first.
Again, are we gonna fucking get a second meeting?
Right. Well, we might not, but
then we're just missing it.
But that's because the show got canceled, not because they obviously they were gonna have her come back. They didn't introduce this and she never comes back.
I mean, I guess they did get a second season. I was going to say they might have seen the writing on the wall at this point, but
yeah, they do think they have a second season, and they've been they have peppered in references to his mom all season. So they knew they were building up to this.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, look, that first episode is for sure the best one so far of the show.
I would agree. I would agree. It is for sure the best one.
And that's this is every time I feel like, man, we're done here.
It does get better. And then it gets worse again.
Right. And I'm sure that's going to go back and forth for the rest of the show, but I don't know that I feel as strongly, who knows how I'll feel at the end of the show. Mm-hmm. But it feels like our emails this week have all been very, the show sucks, it's bad. I'm like, yeah, if I had to say sucks or doesn't suck, you got to pick suck.
Right.
But then there are these episodes, if you only watched the good episodes, which so far I would say the decent episodes, you probably have 5 or 6. It's not that bad. It's not that bad of a show if you ignore the nothing episodes.
Yeah, I mean, and even if you just literally took, some clips out, just take the clip where Jake's eating escargot in front of Victor Trent and be like, tell me you don't want to watch this show. The rest of it's bad, sure, but it's got some moments like this.
It has those moments. And as long as they keep giving us just enough of those to keep us alive,
we won't die yet.
We're almost done. The show is almost over. we're maybe halfway through the whole show.
Yeah, because season 2 is a lot shorter than 1, so I think halfway through is probably right.
And we're doing these 2 parts, so I think we have another month before we're done with season 1 on the show.
That long?
Yeah, it's 5 episodes.
Oh,
one
yeah,
2-parter.
You're right.
I know it'll go faster than you think.
Sure will. Jesus Christ.
Well, listeners, you can let us know if you agree or disagree with our assessment. You think these episodes are good or bad? Let me know how my Resident Evil 4 references are. Make sure I'm accurate with those. There's one thing I've learned apparently from the show is that I make a lot of references to Resident Evil 4. I don't even remember doing that. I don't remember. It's just apparently that's just a go-to in my brain that's just something that's made such an impression on me, that game, that I constantly think of it.
Lucky you have someone to check you, so every single time you do it, you'll get a notification about it.
Yeah.
Don't you feel lucky?
This week on the Patreon, you don't want to miss it, you silly idiots. We're talking about Remnants. K.A. Applegate's follow-up series to Animorphs. We are discussing the entire book series.
All of it.
Sci-fi horror insanity.
For the fuck it is. All fucking 14 books.
That's right. So you don't want to miss that. It's only $5 a month. It's at patreon.com/theyerkyboys. And email us, theyerkyboys@gmail.com. That's it.
That's it. Thanks everyone for listening. Tune in next time when we'll be talking about Season 1, Episode 16, Tobias, in which I'm gonna bet Tobias turns into a boy on The Yerky Boys. That's my bet.